was it proper for some students to benefit from the number of days that are being stretched and left out some students who are not part of the program of stretching the number of hours?
Well, I honestly don't think that any of our students were left out. Like I said earlier, we decided to use the different models to be able to give every child in the school a privilege and the same amount of contact hours so that the equity issues will be ensured. So I don't think any of the children in the schools are being disadvantaged in any way.
Members, let me just finish my recording. Thank you, Honorable Member for Nyamina.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Honorable Minister, you will agree with me that for every term there is a required contact hours to be covered. And if I make my observation or my research, I am made to understand in some schools, students will be going to school perhaps 2 days and others will be going to school perhaps 3 days. While in other schools, students in those schools will be going to school for 5 days. Don't you think that is the disadvantage the Honorable Member is referring to? What is the implication of that?
Honorable Members, I have always observed and drawn the attention of honorable members. Let's understand the essence of supplementary questions. If there is any ambiguity regarding the response given by any, by any honorable minister who is responding, then of course you have a right to ask for clarification. Well, I'm not sure whether your question is seeking for clarification on any ambiguity raised by the honorable minister. It appears as if you are bringing in new elements. No. That's why I said I am not sure. If it is to clarify, is there any area that is not very clear to you? Because you also made a statement, your preamble. You remember the preamble you gave?
I don't make any preamble. Maybe you were not listening keenly, but the Honorable Minister got me right.
No, the records will, I will show it. Of course there was a preamble. You did not go straight to the question. But you can...
Honorable Speaker, like I said earlier, I think I already explained the reason for the different models that have been employed. It's based on the enrollment of the schools and the number of available, usable classrooms that we have in our schools. And we did not just sit down and out of the blues, we came up to say this school must operate this way, that school must operate this way. Like I said, those schools that are using the alternating model, where some of the children would go to school only 3 times in the week. It's only 23 schools nationally. Only 23 schools are using this alternating model. And the alternating model is to give all the children in such schools an opportunity to be able to have the right contact hours. Perhaps sometimes people do not understand and they're worried, but it has never been the system in our schools. All the children were going to school 5 days a week, and they were all having the same amount of contact hours in the week, in the term, in the year. This is a short-term arrangement, and we don't wish for it to go perhaps beyond this academic year. It depends on the situation of the pandemic. If the pandemic improves, we will go back to our regular hours of schooling and days of schooling. But I think right now what we should be praying for is to have this pandemic under control so that life would return to normal for most of our activities that we do now, they're not normal. It's only a short-term measure. And we are doing all we can to make sure that the children are all treated equally based on what we have in our education policy of equity and equitable quality education to be provided. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, Honorable, if you are not satisfied, then maybe you can follow it after, so that at least others will also have an opportunity to be heard.
It's not about satisfied. The Honorable Minister is not answering the question. Before you are satisfied, you must hear your answer question.
Remember, you have a right to ask a supplementary question.
Yes.
And in her response, if I get her right, she tried to explain by saying that, as I explained earlier, A, B, and C. If you are not satisfied, as I said earlier on, you can follow it up at the ministry with her and her technicians. But I'm going to give the floor to Honorable Member for Banjul South.
You are depriving me from my right because I asked a question and the question is not answered. You are denying me for getting the answer. Thank you.
Anybody, I don't have the authority even to deny. The authority is on my, I don't have any authority to deny anybody. Honorable Member for Banjul South. I just try to go by the rules.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, like I always say, it's very sad to hear a cabinet member saying the word only here, even if it affects one school. Saying only is pathetic. And also, Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, he said that the reason for these new modalities are to ensure that COVID restrictions are adhered to. Madam Speaker, can the Honorable Minister tell us whether the COVID protocols are being respected and how the ministry is monitoring and implementing these COVID restrictions? Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, I can tell you that we are regularly monitoring the COVID restrictions in our schools. And we continue to provide the necessary PPEs that the schools need to ensure that the children are safe. We monitor from the regional level, the cluster level perhaps. We start from the cluster level. We monitor from the regional level, and we monitor from the national level as well. We are regularly monitoring to ensure that the COVID guidelines are respected and the PPEs are available in our schools.
A point of observation, Honorable Speaker. Yes. Thank you. Honorable Speaker, having listened to the minister, we don't have to be told what exactly is happening in our school, whether or not COVID regulations are observed or not. You sit there, you had the ministers misleading the National Assembly because COVID regulations, the way in which they need to be observed, it is not happening exactly.
Sorry, Honorable.
No, it's misleading the Assembly.
Honorable, if you want the floor, Honorable Member, if you ask for the floor, I give it to you.
Yes,
I think equally, let's try to be reciprocal. If I also want to intervene, you allow me. Anytime you want the floor, I give it. I think let us be fair to each other. So if I want to intervene, at least just give the decorum to the chair and hear me out. All what I just wanted to say is for us to be careful with our choice of words. You know, being misleading. Let's just try to be a little bit parliamentary in the language that we use. You can continue with your observation.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I think the monitoring aspect that the Honorable Minister is talking about, Honorable Speaker, it is not happening in our schools. We are all from communities where schools are and COVID regulations are not observed. We have seen students not wearing face masks. We get to classes, social distancing is not observed. If the Honorable Minister stood here and say COVID regulation is being monitored and observed in our school, that is misinformation. And you know that, Honorable Speaker, you are allowing the Minister to say such.
I don't know that because I am not privy to the information that you have. I don't go to Nyamina East. Neither do I go to, what is it called, Sandu. So I depend on my honorable members to question the ministers as to what happens on the ground. So let us be fair also to the chair or honorable members at times. I think I try to maintain the equilibrium, but some honorable members, no, please. Honorable member for Banjul South, she was responding to your...
We will find out.
For Serekunda. Serekunda.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. The question aims to deal with the issue of equity in the contact hours. Would the Honorable Minister accept that there is no equity in terms of contact hours in the schools? And if so, are they carefully monitoring the impact of that inequity with the view to remedy the situation as soon as possible?
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. Honorable Speaker, I think I mentioned that all the arrangements that we have now are for this period. And as soon as the period is passed, as soon as we get over this pandemic, we will make sure that we make do for all the contact hours that may have been lost. But nonetheless, we are really doing our best to make sure that we address the challenges. And that is why we have even extended the school week to Saturdays. And for some small schools where perhaps they don't operate afternoon shift, they don't operate the rotational model, etc., they have extra classes that are going on to ensure that the lost contact hours are made up for. These are short, medium time. As soon as everything returns to normal, which I think all of us should be praying for, that things return to normal and that happens quickly, we will definitely make sure that we look into these challenges and we try to address them. Even before COVID, we were very conscious of the inequalities perhaps in contact hours for our students regarding the morning and the afternoon shifts. And these are things that we always paid attention to, whether we go on monitoring or it is during our CCM school visits. We always paid attention to this, and we will work with the schools to ensure that the equity issues are addressed. So we definitely will look into it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Honorable Member for Tumana.
Yes, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I wanted to associate myself with that of Honorable Nyamina East question. I think when you talk about equity in the contact hours in the schools, really it is not existent, it's not there. So, and the minister says as soon as COVID, we don't have COVID. So, the question I wanted to ask is, what will be the alternative if COVID-19 have to continue in next 1 year or 2 years' time? What will be the alternative?
Honorable Speaker, the alternative perhaps would be to construct more classrooms, have more schools, and employ more teachers. Because these are the challenges that we have, and that is why we're employing these different models. If we had all the classrooms we needed in our schools, we had all the teachers we needed in our schools, we would not even have been employing double shift teaching in our schools, let alone now that we're employing these different models. So we will have to look at that. We don't pray that COVID continues. We have been told that we need to learn to live with COVID. COVID is going to be here for a long time, they say, which we don't wish. I am very optimistic. I like to be optimistic. But then if it happens, like I said, we may look at the possibilities of having more classrooms, more teachers, more facilities in our schools. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. It appears as if some honorable members are not very satisfied with the responses with regards to that, but I will encourage them to pursue it vigorously so that they will get to the bottom of it, specifically Nyamina East and Tumana. Question number 220 of 2020 by the Honorable Member for Ileasa.
So, Honorable Speaker, I want to observe, Honorable Speaker. I think going by our standing orders, after the parent questions have been asked, there should be room for 5 additional members to ask supplementary questions. And going by the list, we only had 4. That is Nyamina East, Banjul South, Serekunda, and Tumana.
I always ensure that I have my records.
Okay.
And my records on 219, question 219 of 2020 by the Honorable Member for Bakau. He asked 2 supplementary questions. The 3rd one was by Nyamina East. The 4th one was by Banjul South. Number 5, the 5th question was by Serekunda. The 6th was by Tumana. Yes. I don't know how I marked you, but it is for Serekunda. No, I am human. Just look at it. You are here. Banjul Birkama South is here. There's Birkama South. I always make sure that I write everything down.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, we already accept disparity do exist between the contact hours. Do you have special privilege for those in an examination class? Because exams still exist. Besides, does this also exist in private schools too?
Honorable Speaker, I think my answer to the first part of the question, whether we have special arrangements for examination classes, I would say yes. And those are the classes perhaps that go on Saturdays, so that they will have additional hours. For the private schools, they may not have the problems that we experience in our public schools, because their numbers are smaller and they have more facilities. But nonetheless, we do monitor private schools as well. And if there is anything that does not go according to the policy, anything that is not in line with the education policy, we discuss it with them and we find a way to remedy the situation. Because whether the children are in public or private schools, they all have a right to quality education. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Councillor. Question number 220 of 2020 by the Honorable Member for Ileasa. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, Minister of Basic and Secondary Education, give this August Assembly any data that explains the spending of $3.2 billion located to our ministry in the 2020 season budget. Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, the honorable member is being informed that the figures quoted here is not correct, not accurate. And we wish to be enlightened more on where this figure is coming from. However, what we are aware of as a sector is a 2.5 billion that was allocated to us. These monies were spent as follows. And I want to believe that all the National Assembly members have a breakdown of how the 2.5 billion was spent because this was shared earlier on. Unless you want me to go through it, but otherwise I think we can refer to what is in front of us.
I suggest, Honorable Minister, you go through it, and I'm not sure whether honorable members have the breakdown, but I would ensure that it is copied and circulated. The only disadvantage there is probably they may wish, can I be heard? Basse? Honorable member for Basse, please, can I be heard? Let me complete my sentence. The observation I have there is that if it is circulated, some honorable members may wish to go through the figures and they may wish to raise questions with regards to that, the breakdown. So in that case, I'm not sure whether we can skip question 2 for the time being and allow the Secretariat to photocopy the figures, and we proceed with question number 3. We still have some additional questions for the Honorable Minister. I am saying that because the question is detailed. Is that agreeable? Let's photocopy it and circulate it, and we go to 3, 4, and 5. By the time we finish, then we can come back to 2. Yeah, Basse, you raise your tag. I don't know what you want.
Madam Speaker, thank you. I just want to observe the minister, when answering, said they received 2.5 billion. She is now concerned where 3.5 billion is coming from. Hence, it's from a member, and the member is in the chambers. Could the member give a clarification about 3.5 billion so that we know whether it is 3.5 billion or is 2.5 billion? That's the clarification.
Yes, the honorable member has a right to ask 2 supplementary questions. But I am just saying that by virtue of the fact that we have figures and how the monies were spent, maybe it would interest honorable members to have a look at that breakdown. So let's allow others. Cantora.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I think he raised a very valid point. These are 2 figures, and they are exorbitant figures. For the purpose of the public, not to mislead the public, from the point of departure, let them reconcile where his 3.5 is coming from to refer us, and where has he got our 2.5. Agree on that before you proceed from departure. Thank you.
Okay, we'll strike a compromise. Let's see if they can reconcile, and if these figures, if there is the reconciliation, we will still go ahead with the copying. I think that's a fair, yeah, yes. Where did we, okay. Honorable member, your supplementary. Taking into consideration what your colleagues, the issues your colleagues have raised on the figures and the response by the Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, but I disagree with the Minister that it is not 3.5 million. Although I have my record in the office, I can look, I'll just go to my office and bring the record for you. I disagree with you. I disagree with her.
You disagree?
Yes, with her.
You disagree?
Yes.
That it is still 3.5?
Yes.
And not 2.5?
Yes. Information.
Salum,
yes.
Where are the accountants?
Yes, thank you. Honorable Speaker, I think we need to help one another here. Because if you look at the question, it's actually talking about budget. The budget allocation and the actual expenditure is not the same thing. So if the member is talking about the citizens' budget, that actually shows what is budgeted for in every budget entity. So that's actually different from the actual expenditure. So let's try to balance it out. I think what we need to see perhaps is the actual expenditure of the ministry. And from there we'll be able to reconcile. Because without the actual expenditure, it will be difficult to know exactly what was spent or not.
We need to be guided, really, because we have so many we will come to that. We have so many conflicting information here and there. All we want is just to ensure
I'm rising on a point of order.
We are doing the right thing.
Point of order, Madam Speaker. I'm rising.
Please, can you take your seat? Thank you very much. Honorable Member for Fonyi Kansala. We cannot rush each other.
This is a point of order, Madam Speaker. This is a point of order.
I mean, he had raised his tag earlier on. Allow him, and then you can always.
But order override all other issues. I'm rising on a point of order. It override all other issues.
He also has a point of order.
No, let him.
You don't know. You don't know. Salah.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to appeal to the member for Ilyasa to withdraw the question and then see how he can reconcile with the Honorable Minister. I may equally want to differ from the Honorable Member for Upper Salon because what is stated here, 3.5 billion allocated to her ministry. So what I want to say here is let's appeal to the member for Ilyasa to withdraw the question and allow us to make progress.
Madam Speaker, I'm rising on order 38.
Sabah Sanyal.
Order
you
38,
have the floor.
Yes, 38(1)B.
Your point of order, can you refer us to the relevant provisions?
Yes, order 38(1)B. I refer you there. 1B. Yes. Clause 38(1)B of our standing orders. May I read? Okay. Order 38(1)B, a question shall not include the name of persons. B, sorry. So a question shall not contain any statement which the member who asked the question is not prepared to substantiate. And yes, he said he maintained his position, but he cannot give us any reference where that statement is from. So he cannot substantiate that for me. Yeah. And if you go further to C, let me just refer you. Go to C. Yes. A question shall not contain arguments, including opinions. Are you seeing there? Imputation, ethics, or tendencies in ironical
or offenses expression
or hypocritical.
Or hypothetical matters.
Yes. So obviously, Madam Speaker, this question should not be admissible.
Now, Honorable, I just want all of us to be together. Can you look at your, look at the question again? Yes. What do you say to this, the second leg of the question that okay, let me read it in full. Can the Honorable Minister for Basic and Secondary Education give this August Assembly any data that explains the spending of $3.5 billion allocated to her ministry in the 2020 citizens budget?
Yes.
It's talking about citizens that he is not revealing. I'm just going by what you have just said, that he is not revealing or willing to reveal his source of information, and that according to our standing orders. But I am looking at the question a second time. He's talking about allocation to her ministry in the 2020 citizens budget. So yes. I think we are covered. And again, going further, I am assuming that the information there is contained there in citizens contained or allocated to her ministry in the 2020 citizens budget, and going by standing orders, the Speaker's duties as to questions 39, the Speaker shall, the Speaker, subject to standing order 38, shall be the sole judge of the admissibility of a question. And that being the case, I think I will allow the question to be admitted. Thank you. Thank you. There were some. You see, we are. Sorry. Honorable, please. No. Honorable member for Ilyasa, can you resume your seat? Please, can you resume your seat? Or otherwise, I will call the sergeant. I can go. No, it's not going out. Just make sure you sit down. Please take your seat. Take your seat. The question will be allowed. Take your seat. We are not quarreling. Please, just take your seat. There are some honorable members who want to. I have seen some tags. Yes, Opanyomi, please, honorable member.
Thank you very much, honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity.
Please,
thank you very much, honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. Honorable Speaker, as long as the honorable member did not agree with the honorable minister about the figures, I think it's better for him to see with the minister and they reconcile these issues and allow the question to come back again. That's my suggestion.
But for me, for the chair, he has revealed his source of information. And the source of information, according to this, is from the citizens' budget.
Yeah, but there's inconsistency.
And I have made a ruling on that. So please, can we proceed? Honorable member for...
You said east.
No, west. Not east, west.
Madam, the matter is a very simple one. A question is asked, and the answer is different from what was asked. The burden rests on the shoulders of the questioner to substantiate the data he has given. I think that's as simple as that. We don't want any name, but at least substantiate 3.5 billion, which is different from 2.5 billion. It's simple as that. The responsibility is the questioners and not the minister.
I did not get... Somebody suggesting a reconciliation and we suspend the question, but the honorable member himself is saying that he will go by his figures. So, I cannot force anybody, you know.
Madam Speaker, you know more than anybody that we cannot just go by that. This is Parliament. We go by what is real. He asked a question, and the minister does not agree with the figure he has given. It is up to him to substantiate that. Simple as that.
To be a way out. There has to be a way out, and I am suggesting, honorable members, please, I am not taking any intervention. What I am saying is I am going to rule that for the time being, let us suspend this particular question and we proceed. Then I will take advice from my aides as to what to do. Can we proceed with the next question, please? Question number, please, can you just suspend it? Question number 221 of 2020 by the honorable member for Sami.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, can the Honorable Minister for Basic and Secondary Education inform this August Assembly when is her ministry going to build solid structures for Kalen and Bushtown lower basic schools in Sam?
Honorable Speaker, the Kalen Jawo Lower Basic School is currently undergoing construction by the MRC Holland Foundation, whilst Bushtown Lower Basic will be built under the ministry's ESSP program, and the foundation stone was already laid in the first week of January this year.
Thank you.
Just a second. Okay, yes, go ahead.
Very much, Honorable Speaker. For that response, what about the furnitures when it is completed?
Has a supplementary question. I don't think you have a supplement. I think you are very happy.
Point of order.
You don't have a supplement. I will not take that as a supplementary question. So I will give it to the honorable members. Any supplementary questions on that, honorable members? Any supplementary? Central Badibu?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, in a similar vein, Mandori lower basic.
Point of order. Point of order. Point of order.
I think, honorable members, on a more serious note, I think the question has been adequately answered. Yes, so let's proceed.
Speaker, I'm seeking your permission. With your permission, I want to ask
point of order.
Question related to the question asked by Al-Husseini. Honorable member, please. With
point
your
of
permission,
order.
Are you the speaker? You better take your time.
Point of.
Have the common courtesy.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
You have to behave yourself. Are you the speaker?
Honorable member for Kantora, please.
The speaker has
Let
right
us
to overrule.
Exercise decorum. We don't have to shout. We can all make our points in a very parliamentary manner, and we will all proceed. There is no need to quarrel. If you have a point of order you want to raise, obviously you'll be given the floor. So let's just go one by one. Honorable member for Serakunda.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. The Honorable Minister has explained that the two structures are going to be built by two different institutions, one by the ministry, the other by MRC Holland. Is there a relationship established between MRC Holland and the ministry and demarcation of responsibility as to which school are to be built by either institution, or are they collaborating on a planned basis to carry out this project?
Honorable Speaker, the two schools are built by two different initiatives. MRC Holland is different from the ESSP. The ESSP is a project and it's the education support program under the World Bank, whereas MRC Holland is a foundation of its own. So they don't have anything to do with each other. The fact is that we have different partners that are supporting the education ministry, the education program of the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education. So MRC Holland comes in with their own support in the area of school construction, and under the ESSP, we look at schools or where schools should be built or schools that need to be rehabilitated, etc. And we would have put those under the program and under the project, and then we would be able to carry out the constructions. So there are two different entities.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Tumana.
Yes, Honorable Speaker. In her response, I want to know whether these two schools that are going to be built, whether they will also have this teachers' accommodation, because sometimes they provide that for some schools.
Honorable Speaker, as far as I know, the MRC Holland Foundation support usually goes with teachers' quarters where it is needed. Not all programs or projects have teachers' quarters. Some of them are just for classroom construction. But I may need to find out further and remind myself whether the ESSP program has classroom, quarters, teachers' quarters. But definitely the MRC Holland one, especially where it's a new school, they always go with teachers' quarters.
Point of order, or you want to ask a supplementary? A supplementary. Last on the list. Afoni Councillor, thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Sometimes it's difficult to come up with a supplementary question, particularly when the parent question is asked by SAMI, because it's always SAMI specific. But I want to help by asking the Honorable Minister. She made mention that the Bustan Lower Basic School, the foundation stone was laid in January. So I want the Honorable Minister to inform this August Assembly how soon will construction work in that particular school commence.
Well, I will have to find out from my construction unit. The foundation stone was laid, and as soon as foundation stones are laid for us in MAPSI when we construct classrooms, as soon as foundation stones are laid, we continue with the construction. We don't lay foundation stones and then, because we know we need these classrooms urgently, so we don't waste any time in going ahead with the construction. But I may need to be updated as to what level this classroom construction is at. Thank you.
Thank you. They have already started.
Honorable Member for Birkama South.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, the MRC Holland Foundation, they have already laid the foundation, which I guess the construction is under progress. It's in progress. How about the ESP? Do you have a time frame? When are they going to start?
Honorable Speaker, I am just hearing from the Honorable member who asked the question that the Bushtown Lower Basic School, whose foundation was laid, is in progress.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Jara West. Jara West.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just want to find out from the Honorable Minister the commitment of the Holland Foundation, whether they stop at only building the structure or they will furnish the structures.
They do furnish. They do furnish. They furnish the classrooms.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Kantora.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. Thank you very much for giving me the floor. As far as Kalen and Bushtown schools are concerned, we want to ask the Honorable Minister the expected period or time to complete the project, both projects. It has to be under a time frame. What is the completion time for the MRC Holland as well as the ESP? What is the contractor agree with you that this is the period of the project? Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, I will want to let the Honorable Member know that such an information would be contained in the the project document, which I don't have in front of me now.
You will recall that the honorable member for Sami did not ask 2 supplementary questions, and then I think I want to be fair. Let me just allow other honorable members. Yes, nominated member Seka.
Thank you very much, Ma. According to Honorable Minister, your answer, you made mention of the 2 different components that are building these 2 schools. So, is it that you had different project proposals? And if those project proposals are made, were you able to address the needs? Because sometimes they just do things as they do, like if you borrow me your eyes, you will look at wherever I want you to look at. So how did you come up with your project proposals? Is it that all what you have agreed upon will address the needs of the school, the teachers, and the student? Thank you.
Well, like I said, these are 2 different entities. MRC Holland Foundation, they have their criteria, they support us, they build the classrooms, they hand them over to us. And for the ESSP, which is a project, we would have done an assessment to know where we need classrooms built according to priority, and we would have indicated in the project document that we will be building schools in several different places. And then they go ahead, the project coordination unit and the construction unit, they go ahead with all that is needed to be done. So this is it.
Thank you very much. Can we move over to question number 222 of 2020, having exhausted our 7 supplementary questions, by the honorable member for Jimara, 222 of 2020.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, can the Honorable Minister for Basic and Secondary Education inform this August Assembly how many schools did the current government build apart from the Basse College?
Honorable Speaker, the current government, in partnership with the MRC Holland Foundation, has built 2,018 new classrooms, brand new classrooms. They have already also rehabilitated 1,350 classrooms, or classes, sorry. It should be rooms, classrooms, and constructed 61 new schools. If I may give a further update to the question above. The above answer was as of the time the question was asked last December. In addition, other donors through the World Bank have constructed 475 classrooms and 479 toilet cubicles, making a total of 2,493 classrooms constructed under the current government. You may wish to further note that in 2021, this current year, it is anticipated that MRC Holland will construct at least 500 classrooms, including science laboratories. This is the MOU we have with them, the agreement we have with them, that every year they will construct about 500 classrooms.
Excuse me, let me just. Yes, Jimara. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Honorable Minister, this question was asked after an interview with the iAfrica, when the President had an interview with the iAfrica, where he mentioned his government built 3,000 schools, and now you are telling us that the government built 2,018 schools. I think there is a miscommunication, or somebody is misinforming the Gambians, either the ministers or the President.
It was a statement. Okay. Just a second. Then it was not a supplementary question. Okay. Honorable Member for Tumana. Supplementary question. Thank you.
Yes. Honorable Speaker, I want the Minister to furnish the Parliament with the answers that she has. And again, would the government do justice to MRC Holland Foundation when claiming to build these schools from state coffers instead of MRC Holland Foundation?
Tumana, which particular questions do you want provided? Sorry, responses do you want provided? The ones that she has just read. No, because I think the table office should be able to facilitate that. We've got the updates, including the updates.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I think the Honorable Minister needs to be applauded for the numerous number of classes that they've built. My concern, though, is not about the numbers, it's about the quality. Can the Honorable Minister guarantee that with this large number of classes, they will be available, quality teachers and quality teaching will be available? And also, going back to Honorable for Tumana's question, it says here, the current government built. Can the Honorable Minister confirm to this August Assembly who built this Basse College, whether it's the government or whether it's a donor? Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, the Basse College is not under my purview. It's under the purview of the Ministry of Higher Education. So perhaps I don't think I'm in the position to give a response to that.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Basse.
Madam Speaker, thank you. Madam Speaker, the question is about how many schools, the number of schools. Answers provided by the Honorable Minister, more focus on classrooms. We can have 100 classrooms within a school, like we can have 1 classroom within a school. So now, combining all these classrooms together, how many schools are built? I think that's the question. 61. No, he said 61 classrooms are built. Is it 61 schools? 61 new schools are built. So does the minister want to tell us these 2018 classrooms, 475 classrooms, 2,493 classrooms, 500 classrooms are all contained within these 61 schools? That's what we want to know. So some of them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. Honorable Speaker, for now, we only managed to give the number of new schools under MRC Holland Foundation support. But we have several other supports. And the ESSP, the BADIA, OFID, and others, perhaps what we will do, we will have to provide the number of additional schools under those different projects. For now, we only managed to give, it must have been an oversight. We only managed to give the number of new schools under MRC Holland. But notwithstanding, other projects also have new schools that have been built, and we will be pleased to submit or to provide an update to this august body.
It will probably help, Honorable Minister, if we have the update so that we can circulate it to honorable members. Just appreciate that most of them are teachers and they're particularly interested in education sector.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you very much. Honorable member for Central Badibu. Unless you want to withdraw.
No, I don't want to withdraw. My question, means, whether we can have a list of those schools that have been built. If we can have the list, that can help us.
Please.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, you have given us two updates. One, at the time the question was asked, and after the question was asked, that is the current update. And I want to establish what exactly is happening between the two. During the update, when the question was asked, will I be correct to say it was less than 3,000 classrooms that were built? If yes, then the President must have misled the public. If no, then you are misinforming the Assembly. Thank you.
Of new schools. Like I said a few minutes ago, we will provide an update. And the honorable member, one other honorable member, Central Badibu, asked for a list of the schools that have been constructed. We will provide that, and the information will reach this August Assembly in due course.
We may get the update before next week, Wednesday, when there will be question. That would be question day, if we can get it before then, so that in case honorable members would need more questions. Honorable member for Sandu. Yes, Sandu.
All right, thank you, Honorable Speaker. For clarity purpose, Honorable Minister, you've talked about the collaboration of your ministry and MRC Holland Foundation. So my question is whether you have an MOU with the Holland Foundation. If yes, so what does it entail? Is it that the government also has to give them a support, like a counterpart funding, to be able to build these schools in our areas?
Honorable Speaker, yes, we do have an MOU with MRC Holland, but at this moment I'm not in the position to give the details because I don't have the MOU in front of me. Thank you.
Honorable member for Nyani.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Here, if I can understand the question is saying how many schools did the government build? So I want that clarity. Government is constructing roads, and it's from the government. Now we want to know how many schools, not about MRC Holland Foundation or World Bank. How many schools did the government build? This is the question. Thank you.
Honorable Minister.
Honorable Speaker, I already said an update will be provided, and you have suggested that we do it by next Wednesday. I promise by next Wednesday the update will be provided.
No, we've exhausted our 7 questions. No, we have exhausted our 7. We're now dealing with questions and answers. Let us go by what you have agreed to under your standing orders. So can we move over to the 2021 June questions for the Honorable Minister for Basic and Secondary Education by the Honorable Member for Ilyasa. Sorry, it's Cantora. It's not corrected here, that's why.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Yes. No, it's a mistake from them.
Madam, you have Ilyasa on the list. No. Hello, Madam please.
On the Honorable
Madam Speaker, let them change it. It's Ilyasa.
Honorable Member
before,
for
what I'm saying, before you let them change it.
We will correct it. Honorable members, please, if you have it on your records, can you correct it? It is Cantora.
Yes.
And not Ilyasa. Please, can you just do the corrections? But then table office will equally do the official corrections, which they have already done. But again, for the information of honorable members, the question is asked by the honorable member for Cantora and not Ilyasa. Satisfied? You can proceed.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. This question has nothing to do with Ilyasa. Honorable Speaker, can the Honorable Minister for Basic and Secondary Education inform this August Assembly whether there are plans to address the shortage of classrooms and furniture in Suduo, Koina, Sonkunda basic schools and secondary school respectively?
Honorable Speaker, the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education has a detailed strategic plan to meeting the emerging needs and increasing demand for education, infrastructure, and furniture requirement of all schools nationwide. Currently, the government of the Gambia, which through the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, has received funding from the Kuwaiti Fund for Arab Economic Development to develop and expand about 39 upper basic and senior secondary schools in the 6 educational regions of the country. This project will assess the classroom and furniture requirements of schools and intervene accordingly based on the priorities and needs. The project is currently at a tendering stage and is expected to start soon. However, the ministry is also constantly engaging other long-standing and strategic partners like MRC Holland Foundation to address the issue of classrooms and furniture in schools. I would like to inform this august body that the ministry is constantly conducting nationwide assessment to update its data on classrooms and furniture requirements in all schools. Finally, I would like to assure the honorable member for Cantora constituency that the 3 schools in question fall under or fall within our priority list for additional classrooms and furniture. Now, I am aware that about 3 weeks ago, Sonkunda was visited and assessed. Koina, if I am right, I know two schools in Cantora were visited and assessed, and Suduwal is also among our priorities. Sonkunda and one other school, I'm not sure it's Koina, but I was very much aware when the assessment was being done about 3 to 4 weeks ago, that the assessment has indicated that they need more classrooms because of enrollment increase. And I have been given all the assurance that the classrooms, additional classrooms, are going to be provided for Sonkunda, and I believe it's Koina, and Suduwal will also benefit from classrooms.
Thank you very much, Honourable Minister, for prioritizing these 3 schools. But as a matter of urgency, we are approaching the rainy season as well. And these are evidence that students are receiving lectures outside the structures or at the environment where they try to put some perimeter fencing, but there is no any other shed or cover over the roof. So would you really consider that they are plight within this trying moment? Because we are approaching rain season as well. So would you look within your means to make it as a matter of urgency to address the situation in these 3 schools as well?
Honorable Speaker, as you're aware, the honorable member is also aware, and I think we are all aware, that we are almost approaching the closure of schools for the academic year. And since these schools have already been assessed for additional classrooms to be provided, I want to believe the agreement will be signed very soon, and as soon as these agreements are signed, the construction begins. We may want to wait until we do proper construction. And at the moment, like I said earlier, it's because of the social distancing. Otherwise, a school like Suduwal, all the children were in classrooms. It's just because of the pandemic, and we had to reduce the class sizes, the number of students in the classrooms. That is why some of the children are not sitting in classrooms. But it's a concern. And just recently, you also spoke about furniture, but I am aware that recently furniture was sent to Suduwal. So schools are going to close soon. We thank God we have been able to go through the academic year. And in about 3-4 weeks' time, schools would close. Perhaps 3 weeks' time, schools would close. And we would be able to, we hope to be able to address some of these challenging issues by September or thereabout. Thank you.
Cantora.
Thank you very much, Honourable Minister. Of course, I agree with you. Schools are going to be closed very soon, and I also will really appreciate if you can give me or get me the second school that was visited to be constructed alongside with Sonkunda School. I would really appreciate, because these 3 schools I mentioned, Koina, Sonkunda, and of course Suduwal, are key priority areas in terms of education is concerned.
I will do that. I'll do that.
Thank you very much. Lower Nyomi, Honorable Member for Lower Nyomi.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I wanted to implore the Honorable Minister, given the fact that the structures that are built by the Holland Foundation are decent, wide, and very conducive to learning. Unlike the other structures that are built by the other entities.
Is there any ambiguity on the, what is it called? The responses given by the Honorable Minister?
She is...
No, I'm just, that's it. If there is any ambiguity, you seek for clarification on that. Otherwise, you cannot bring up a new question.
I am coming, Madam. She is talking about the construction of classrooms, and we are pegging our question.
So remember that your standing orders give you 2 minutes to ask a supplementary question.
Are you timing me because of
Sorry, 1 minute. In fact, it's even 1 minute. So if you take time making a statement, you may not have time to ask your question.
I am just commending the stance and the structures that are built by this Holland Foundation. They are very good. And if you are to build, giving consideration to the distance that should be within the classroom setup, it is very necessary that you give credence to that body that builds structures that are very wide. very conducive to education. This is where we come in. Are you, Madam Minister, thinking of SL Upper Basic School?
Honorable, that was very shrewd of you.
Madam Speaker, to answer that, I would say yes. We are thinking of SL Upper Basic. We're thinking of SL Upper Basic. We were looking at the land issue to build the new school because where it is right now is not a good site. And I think there has been some progress in that. Land has been allocated and the papers have been forwarded to my ministry. And we will be doing something very soon, we promise.
This is very wise wisdom from the elders. They strategize. Honorable Member for Talinding, yes.
Thank you. Honorable Minister, you make mention that your minister is prepared to address the shortage of classrooms and furniture within the 6 regions of the country. Did you cater for the schools in the Greater Banjul area? The private schools in the Greater Banjul area, hence most of them were almost dilapidated and there is no correct furniture.
Are you talking about, Honorable Speaker, ma'am, are you talking about private schools?
Yes.
Well, those are private schools. They're private entities.
Yes.
Government funds cannot be spent on them. So we look at public schools. Public schools are what we're looking at. And definitely, Banjul schools or Greater Banjul schools are included. Gambia High School is one of those 36 that is going to be under this project. Gambia High School is one. I think Abuko in the Greater Banjul area is another. They're spread throughout the country. But I looked at the papers, the documents recently. I have been updated, and I know that Banjul schools are involved. They're included.
Honorable Minister, we have Gambian children going to these schools. And sometimes the environment is not conducive for them. What plan do you have for them?
Those are private. They are private businesses. We cannot spend government money on private businesses.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for All Yundum.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, first of all, let me thank you for that wonderful project in Sinchusori with MRC Holland Foundation. I wanted to ask, is your ministry also considering addressing the shortage of classrooms in Wellingara Lower Basic School as well as furniture in Olundum Lower Basic School? Considering the population going to that school, they have a shortage of classroom that is presently pressurizing the administration to, not to deal with the situation the way they want it to be. Will your ministry consider addressing that? Because they have a space for enough classrooms.
I think I'll disallow that question.
Can I ask the question properly?
No, you should have brought it up as a new question.
Honorable Speaker, can I ask the question properly?
It is very substantive.
Now let me go direct to the question. Honorable Minister, is your ministry considering to address the shortage of classrooms within Wellingara Lower Basic School as well as furniture in Olundum Lower Basic School?
Question, your supplementary question does not touch on the original, really.
Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Member for...
Honorable Speaker.
Yes.
Can I... Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker.
Madam. Observation.
Yes, before I put it down.
We are dealing with supplementary questions, not substantive questions.
Exactly.
Please.
That's what I said. Yes, thank you. We are dealing with, let me take Woolly East, supplementary. Please let us go by the rules as far with regards to supplementary. We should not be arguing over this. They are very minor matters. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, you mentioned 89 upper basic schools for the Creative Fund. My question is, how equitable would these upper basic schools be distributed in the country? Considering that in some constituencies like Woolly East, there are almost only one upper basic or two upper basic schools in the whole constituency. Is it going to be equitably distributed?
Honorable Speaker, I said we do assessment, and when we assess, we prioritize. And of course, I think we all know that the regions are not the same size. They don't have the same number of schools. For instance, you have more schools in Region 2 than in any other part of this country. And you have the least schools in Region 4. So definitely, if the regions are not the same size and they don't contain the same number of schools, and we assess and prioritize, of course, I don't think we can equally distribute them among the regions.
One more supplement, yes, Basse?
May add, I know that Region 6 is going to have a number of schools in this Kuwaiti project.
Yes, Basse, Honorable Member for Basse.
Honorable Speaker, thank you.
Sorry.
Honorable Speaker, the question is on shortage of classrooms. Honorable Speaker, shortage is not only the absence of physical structure, but sometimes it's the absence of the programs. You see schools in URR, they are empty. The students are not there. Why? Because the program that they want to flow, it is not taught in the school. Consequently, they have to move to go to other regions that offer those programs. So I just want to call the attention of the minister on that. If now considering the furnitures, not only the materials, but also the program that is taught. For example, science and other subjects that have to be taught, or the students want to go for those programs, but those programs, if they are not taught in the school, so obviously the classrooms is there, it's not shortage, but the students will not be there. They will go and look for those programs where they are provided. So I just want her to put that into consideration.
As an observation,
Thank you.
because definitely it is not a supplementary question. And again, I don't want to open the floodgates for every honorable member to make an observation when it is time for supplementary questions. But in any event, we have exhausted our 7 limits and we have to proceed. Please, can I thank the Honorable Minister for the responses, for the responses given. But then I just want to bring to the attention of the honorable members some issue that I just tried to do some little bit of research on the question 220 of 2020 by the honorable member for Ilyasa. I did indicate that the question had been suspended until next week. But just for the information of all of us and for all of us to get back to the Appropriation Act, have a look at it and get prepared for the question again. If Ilyasa is convinced, he can always come up with it again. But I just want to read what is under the Appropriation Act, that under the Appropriation Act 2020, the total budget allocated to the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education is 2.6 billion. That is what is on the record. So the figures provided in the question by the honorable member is not what is contained in the Act. And with regards to Standing Order 39-2B, we will allow the honorable member for Ilyasa to reread his question by making reference to the figure in the Appropriation Act, if he so wishes, and it will come up next week. He can be given the opportunity. That is just by way of information. And he can check with the Office of the Clerk and Finance and submit it. And as I said, we're not opening the debate on that. Honorable Minister, please, thank you very much for the questions, and you're now released, but please remember to provide the updates for honorable members, and we'll have you back next week.
Can I raise a point of clarification?
Thank you very much, your
point of clarification, Madam Speaker.
I'm not going to allow any more observations. You made your observations.
Madam Speaker, there are two figures. The figure that you provided and the figure that the minister did provide are not the same. We are just looking for clarification, if you allow me, please. Another clarification, Madam Speaker.
I am not opening the debate on that. As I said,
Madam Speaker,
I have suspended that question, and it will be looked into, and then we can always come back, and we'll all have an opportunity. So, can I please clarify?
I just want to clarify.
Continue? No, as I said, I'm not opening any more debate on this. Please. Honorable Clerk, please can you proceed?
Thank you. Question for oral answers continues. Question for oral answers by the Honorable Minister for Petroleum and Energy.
Thank you. Questions for which due notices were given to the Honorable Minister for Petroleum and Energy for oral reply. June question 2021. Question number 97 of 2021 by the Honorable Member for Kantora.
Yes, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, can the Honorable Minister for Petroleum and Energy give a comprehensive update on the fate of the rural electrification expansion projects, that is, the names of respective villages in Kantora constituency that are going to benefit from it? Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, the villages in the Kantora constituency, URR South, will benefit from the World Bank-funded Gambia Electricity Modernization Project (JAM), which is at the final stage of finalizing the contract with the most responsive bidder. The villages that will benefit are Bolibana, Sarebach, Saremala, Brikama, Sare Sibo, Madina Bala, Jida, Sotuma, Kemambugu, Keneba, Jawakunda, Fantumbulu, Bani, Kasikunda, Kantelkunda, Hamdallah Yoro, Son Kunda, Nyamanari, Kolikunda, Sare Hande, Sare Gela, Kusum, Samikuta, and Samikoto.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Can I come for my second question? Thank you very much. Honorable Minister, as you're aware, there is already a project going on in Nyamanari, a solar project, which your technocrats are aware. Would you be fit to replace Lamway in place of Nyamanari, so that, because it's the only village among the listed one that hasn't been named or listed part of the beneficiaries. Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, we are talking about grid connections. The one in Nyamanari is an off-grid, and it is, I think, is done by Lamaya will replace Nyamanari. Well, they are talking about Lamaya replacing Nyamanari. But what I talk about here is grid connection. And the project has going on now was programmed for off-grid part for Nyamanari. I think that is the one done by Unique Solution, something like that. Yes, but you see, I don't think that can actually, even with that project, definitely there should be grid connection to the area. Because this is solar, and the solar may not have that battery backup support. So I think still, even the village is not covered here, could still be considered for connection, with or without the Nyamanari one. But that my technicians are telling me that they're going to replace them.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. And I'm also happy that your technical team has already informed you that Lamwe will be included. I want you to inform me, because I know this is a very good news for them, but the expected time the project will commence, as in like what specifically are you targeting, which time would you kickstart the project? Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, energy projects, we are at the stage of procurement, we are complete for procurement, and there we go to implementation. So what we can tell you is that we want to start implementing projects before end of this year, but we can't tell you exactly when they are going to that particular region.
Honorable Member for Fonyi, Bintang Karanda.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, 3 of my villages, as Kabokor, Arangalen, and Tampoto, are part of the rural electrification project. And last year, I asked a question because from Kian they jumped and went to Faraba and Kombo. Last year, I asked, are they not part of it, and they are coming back to electrify them. Since then, they did not come. How soon are they coming to electrify them again?
Members, I don't want to be intervening. I was expecting that a line of questioning from, what do we call them? Sami and Nyani, they always ask similar questions. But definitely, I mean, let's all appreciate and understand the essence of supplementary. If you want something for your constituency, let it be in the form of a question. No, you could have come by way of question.
But he's talking about complete.
No, sorry. You could have come up, that Honorable Minister, last year, we posed a question A, B, and C, but how come this year, Fonyi is jumped and all whatnot? Instead of trying to bring up the Fonyi issue, as I said, the essence of a supplementary question is to clarify, in cases there is any ambiguity with regards to the response provided for, you seek for clarification. But to bring up new elements is really what is not, just let us all bear that in mind. But I am sure the Honorable Minister has taken note, because you've been allowed to make your observation, yes. And Honorable Member for Woolly East.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Madam Speaker, I think...
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
He's talking about rural electrification, and these villages are part of rural electrification.
But the question is for Base. It's Kandora.
I'm giving the floor. I'm on my feet. Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. Honorable Minister.
I probably be a little bit lenient.
Yes, the first leg of the question is comprehensive update on the fate of the rural electrification expansion project. He is concerned about Kandora, but what about the rest of the project? What about the rest of the villages of the project, of that expansion project? That is the question.
Honorable Speaker, when we read the question, at the end of the project, he said that is the names of. So the comprehensive program is the that is. That's the names. That's the comprehensiveness he wants. So that's why I answered that way.
Honorable members, if you look at the question, it says a comprehensive update on the fate of the rural electrification expansion project, i.e. the names of the respective villages in Kantora constituency that are going to benefit. Sami, you should have come up. Sabasanjal, you should have come up. Sopasalum, you should have come up. Same like you have a question. Well, you see, you have a question on that. So anybody, you just ask. Don't slot it behind any other question. Wuli is yes. Tumana.
Yes, I just wanted to ask if he can provide the Parliament with the list of villages that will benefit from this rural electrification project. That will address the issue.
Well, let me allow him to respond to that. Can you? That will take care of everybody. Yeah.
Honorable Speaker, maybe let me share this with this assembly, because if you ask me to list all the names of the villages, but I can share something with you that I can do a number of villages that we are going to cover. We have already a master list compiled 2020 for all the projects that we have already secured funding, and now we are now in the final stages of signing contracts. Okay, we have basically 3 projects. These are access projects. Transmission. One is called the Gambia Electricity Restoration and Modernization Project (JAM), co-funded by the World Bank and European Union. Okay, this actually has about 273 villages countrywide. Okay, and we also have the ECOWAS Regional Access Project (ECORIP). This is financed by World Bank. This is about $66 million, and this covers 298 villages. And we also have GEEP, that's the Gambia Electricity Access Project. It's African Development Bank. This will cover about 114 villages. So we have a total of 685 villages for access. So this is why we are picking these villages from this master list. But the way the survey is done is that it's done by regions, like for example, if you say Jamwali, is Nyamina West, CRR. So we have a lot of CRR villages listed. But to pick that up for every district, it will be difficult for me. I don't know, even know. If you ask me, even some areas in Kiang mentioned, I don't even know them.
Honorable Minister, in that case, I think it's a reasonable request to provide a comprehensive list, yes, so that everybody can have one. I see Nyamina is even nodding his head. Yeah, you like that one? Yes, but when it doesn't suit you. Yes, no. No, Tumana, please, let's allow others. You already had your 2 supplementary questions. But no, sorry. Tumana had already asked his 2 supplementary. No. Sorry, Kantora. Yes, sorry, Kantora, not Tumana.
An observation.
No observation. You had your cake and all the extra bites. Honorable Member for Serekunda. And then Woodley West, and then that brings us to the end of the 7 total questions.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the question is asking for a comprehensive update. Does this necessarily relate only to the grid one, or would that also include any prospect for off-grid proposition in terms of electrification? And particularly, is there any emphasis on focusing, giving priority to renewable energy sources as a source?
Very good. The question is the rural electrification project. I think that's mainly talk about the JAM project, you understand. But that's the grid connection. That's why we give the list of on grid connections. And this is actually access. So renewable actually is production. That is a source of the energy. And that production, you have the solar and also the hydropower and the thermal engine that we are having. So renewable energy is definitely a source of
energy that we are critically thinking about. So what this one is actually is the matter of distribution of energy. So solar energy is part of it, but that is the production side. The production side of it, yes. And what we are asked to talk about here is basically grid. But notwithstanding, we have the one is talking about Nyamenari is an off-grid project. That one is, that's why it's talking about whether it can be replaced by the other one, which is grid. But we generally, the area that we talk about, initially this was in our plan, 2020, is for grid connection to Nyamanari. But definitely off-grid also in our programs. And that has to do with the source of energy, solar, and then distributing it to the community. But definitely, renewable energy, particularly solar, is our target.
Honourable Member for Woolly West.
Thank you, Honourable. Does this project take into consideration educational institutions, for example, schools?
Very good. Basically, schools and health center area communities are targeted. That's why if you look at, also some facilities where we have industry facilities, tourism facilities, so we target those areas for grid connection. But in addition to connecting grids to those communities with schools and hospitals, we have also a project we are working right now with the Education Ministry and also with the Health Ministry to provide solar power energy to all the schools, and that's 1,001 schools and health centers all over the country. That is even with grid, we provide that. That will even reduce their energy consumption. Definitely it is. That's our target in our criteria and selecting villages.
Thank you very much. We've exhausted our 7 questions. So question number 98, yes, of 2021 by the Honourable Member for Nyamina West. Nyamina West.
Thank you, Ma. Honourable Speaker, can the Honourable Minister for Petroleum and Energy inform this August Assembly when will the people of Nyamina West benefit from the rural electrification project?
Madam Speaker, NAWEC and the ECOWAS Commission are in the process of finalizing the contract with the most responsive bidder for ECOWAS Regional Electricity Access Project, which covers part of Nyamina West constituency. The contract is expected to be signed before the end of this month or early July 2021, and the implementation will commence before end of this year. The villages in Nyamina West that will benefit from this project are namely Kolikunda, Walingara, Momodu, Papa, Jaulaba, Kunda, Sambam Mandinka, Sambam Fula, Jamwali, Sare Seydou, Kabambang, Sare Lieng, Babu Job, Bohol, Dalaba, Choya, and Kumbanyi, sorry. Yeah.
Nyamina West, you have additional, any supplementary questions?
Okay, thank you, Ma. With connection to this rural project, I heard you mention the JAM and the ECOREC. So I want you to establish the relationship between this rural electrification project and the JAM, and also tell us where the where the JAM and the ECOREC project concentrated, or are they supporting each other in terms of supplying electricity to the rural community? Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, see, when you talk about rural electrification, that is rural in general. But these are projects that we have already designed and already have funding for them. So, for example, we say JAM covers part of Nyamina and part of Uarat and also part of West Coast region. So the same with the ECORIP. So, but we have, that's why I have a comprehensive list here of the projects and where they cover. So when you say rural electrification, when you come to your area, we look at project covered area. So we pick that project up. That's why we, in the first one, we said JAM. This other one also we say ECORIP. Because this is what the ECORIP is going to cover that particular area. So I hope that is the distinction. Rural electrification is electrification for all the rural areas in the country. But you have these specific projects. ECORIP, JAM, and also I mentioned the third one, which is the Gambia Electricity Access Project. That's the African Development Bank project. These are sponsored by different sponsors. JAM is sponsored by World Bank, Community of World Bank in EU. That's about $179 million. And we have the ECORIP, that's the ECOWAS Regional Access. That's linked to the OMVG service stations, 100 kilometers around Soma and 100 kilometers around Brikama. And also we have this is also sponsored by the World Bank, that's $66 million. We have already secured this funding. We are now on the last stage of procurement. And then we have the Gambia Electricity Access Project, that's JEEP. That's $17 million by African Development Bank.
Thank you. Now is a request, since everyone is interested on the copy, please make these documents, if it is public, available to us, the names. It will help. Thank you for all of us.
Yes, it is. This is not. It's not public, but definitely whatever the names will require, we will provide to them. And this is so that has been done by 2020, and this is what we are working on. But of course, we are looking for more funding to. Our overall objective is for universal access by 2025. That's why we're talking about the different sources of electricity. It can be off-grid, on-grid. So this all we are talking about is on-grid, and we are working on the off-grid too.
Honorable Minority Leader, Dankunku, Nyamina Dankunku.
Thank you very much.
I see the Nyaminas
Honorable Minister, Nyamina West being my neighbor, and then Nyamina East. And then this question is talking about rural electrification. Now, I want to ask, Nyamina West being my neighbor, immediate neighbor, whether this rural electrification has affected the constituency of Nyamina Dankunku. If yes, what are the villages that are benefiting?
Honorable, look at the question. Can the Honorable Minister for Petroleum and Energy inform this August Assembly when will the people of Nyamina West benefit from the rural electrification project? The question was specific to Nyamina West. Yes, it was specific to Nyamina West. If Nyamina Dankunku, that's why I said the Nyaminas are solidarity, showing solidarity. Have another, we'll take a replacement of that. Opa Nyomi.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity.
I'll take from here.
Honorable Minister,
Yes.
Honorable Minister, I want to ask you this question about the same Nyamina West. You mentioned the villages, but I don't hear the name of the village of Pinyai and Katamina. Are they part of this rural electrification project or not? And some of the villages you have mentioned, they are bigger than them.
Did I hear Kachang? I heard Kachang.
I said Pinyai and Katamina. I said Pinyai and Katamina. These are villages of Nyamina West.
I see, okay.
Yes.
Maybe let me make this clarification, and of course that will answer the concern of it. We are not talking about the villages. We say communities. So when we said Dankunku, that community, maybe some villages, a kilometer or two around it, are considered as a particular community. Okay, so I may not mention the name of a particular village here, but then we have a comprehensive list. But even on this list, if you see here like Dankungu, there could be a village around Dankungu, which is not far from Dankungu. You say Quinala, Tendaba was just not to Quinala. Tendaba was electrified as part of Quinala. So we look at the communities also. So that's why we have this list of communities. But then it will be difficult. I was just informed here that Katamina and Dankungu, yes, because I've seen it already here, Dankungu and Katamina, they're already in the list as I was looking at it. It's in Nyamina, I don't know. So, I mean, we have the list of villages. So, and I've seen Dankungu, Nyamina, East. So yes, they are covered.
Thank you. Honorable nominated member, Seka.
Thank you very much, Ma. I want to be clear because he's talking about this on-grid and off-grid. But to my own, I want to be clear on those donors that he is calling, those partners. Is it that they are not going to create duplication of efforts? Because the way I understand it, you are saying that those how do you call it? Those partners that you are talking about, and you give us the towns and the villages, and you are telling me that all those partners are coming within that village. Am I right to say that if those partners are with these villages, it will create duplication of effort? I want to be clear on that.
Okay, there are no duplication of efforts. You see, every project we have defined area that will cover, and off-grid is for areas that may not be able to get grid now. So we are thinking of off-grid projects. And when you come to institutions like schools and hospitals, even if they have the grid, we still have this project of electrifying them through some providing solar energy, because that will also reduce the electrification consumption of the entities. You know, health centers or schools, they don't have cash power. They are on ordinary days. Sometimes they have problems of paying the bills. But if you are able to get them on solar also, that will reduce their product. And some, like, I think that is Bansang, they are trying to put up some solar projects whereby if they have excess energy, they can sell to the grid. So that will all help them to reduce their energy cost. But there is no duplication. Everything is mapped before surveyed and mapped and decided before we actually go to the next. But definitely there will not because of efforts. But off-grid is mainly like standalone solar activities. The grid is like supply energy from our main power sources, either Basse, Brikama, Farafenyo, or Banjul, or Korkotu. These are the grid connections.
Thank you, Honorable nominated member. Sorry, Honorable member for Basse.
Madam Speaker, thank you. The purpose of this questioning is to have the holistic information over an issue, because we have select committees that normally go on their committee functions. So therefore the question here, the member is particular about the time frame, because if I can read the question, to inform this August Assembly, when will the people of Nyamina West benefit from the rural electrification project? So that time frame, when? We would like the Honorable Minister to situate us within a time frame.
Honorable Speaker, this was in my response. I told them where we are. We are signing the contract, and when the projects start. But I will not be able to tell you now that this particular place, they're going to reach there or this particular time. I cannot provide them now, because energy projects, they are time consuming. You procure the equipment, you mobilize, there's a lot of things to do. So to say they'll be from this place and that place now, that has not been designed. So I cannot provide them now.
Enough. Honorable member for Brikama South.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, I really thank the intention of the government to electrify the entire country, more especially Nyamina West. the issue I want to emphasize here, do you factor the issue of sustainability in terms of production? Because many a time, especially during last Ramadan, what you are encountering, you have the poles there, electricity was there, but they have very minimal hours of supply to them. So do you factor in terms of sustainability, in terms of production?
Yes, that is the reason, in fact, connected to the question raised by the Honorable Member of Serekunda, to look at source of energy. Sustainability depends on the source of energy. If you are going to depend on thermal energy, that's petroleum fuels is very expensive. So that's why we are going for renewable energy too. So that's the only way to sustain it. We have three sources: renewable energies, that is solar. We have also the hydropower, that's the connection we are doing, the OMVG connection and other connections. And also we have thermal, gas to power. Senegal is producing gas now. So we are, any new thermal energy engine we have now, we have that hybrid system for gas and also for petrol, other fuels. But that is the sustainability is definitely the source of energy. And this particular we are talking about is the access. And right now, for example, in Banjul here, currently we are generating more than the peak demand. So we have to expand to be able to capture, to dispatch. And we are also extending, we are trying to get energy from the dams from Conakry. And there also, if you don't expand, then we cannot actually transmit the energy as we require. So we have to balance this. Excess production, and you cannot dispatch in the energy also, it becomes a problem. So we are working on both parallelly for sustainability. But to be able to energy sustainable and affordable definitely is a source. And that source has to be renewable. That's the trend now.
Yes, the last one by the Honorable Member for Latrikunda Saviji. No? Okay, we can take another one. Yes, Sabah Sanjal then. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. I have been raising my time. Honorable Minister, my concern is the responsibility of the communities that are going to be affected by this project in Nyamena West. What's going to be the requirement? What is their participation in the project, if there is any?
Well, the participation of them, because these projects are going to be implemented by companies, and we need that collaboration in terms of getting access right of ways to the power lines. And of course, we're going to be cutting off some trees here and there and to land the power lines. So we need the collaboration on that. But also, one thing happens also, if they are doing the projects, the community themselves are engaged in providing labor force for the project. So that's happened in Congo here and also in Kiang. So that's the participation. But actually, they themselves don't do anything particularly in terms of financing anything.
Thank you. And we now move over to question number 99 of 2021 by the Honorable Member for Upper Fuladu West. He's not around, but I understand he's giving authority to the Honorable Member for Tumana to read his question on his behalf. Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, it is obvious that the government of the Gambia cannot enter into any agreement that could derogate or impede the sovereignty legally or economically. Can the Honorable Minister for Petroleum and Energy inform this August Assembly whether claims of government entering into petroleum partnership deal affecting GAM Petroleum, and if true, can he inform this August Assembly the kind of agreement reached, taking into consideration the legal, economic, and other social implications?
Honorable Speaker, GAM Petroleum is a private petroleum product storage facility established on the Companies Act, and the government does not enter into any partnership deal that affects the facility. The Minister of Petroleum and Energy, in accordance with Petroleum Products Act 2016, is mandated to issue licenses to all marketing companies and petroleum storage operators, such as Gam Petroleum.
Any supplementary questions on that for him? Okay, honorable members, any supplementary questions on that? No? Yes, Erakunda? We can take more.
Yeah, Honorable Speaker, is the Honorable Minister therefore telling this august body that there is no investment relationship between the government of the Gambia and Gam Petroleum or any of the institutions of the state, such as the SOEs?
Yes, the government SOEs have a partnership with them. It's public-private partnership, but it's a private company activity. So I know that Social Security has a share, GNP has a share, and also, I don't know, which one, they also, I think, GPA have a share in it too. So definitely there are companies that are in the business investment, they bought shares to invest in the area. But we as a government don't sign any agreement with any company. That's purely their business activity.
Yes, any more? Yes, Central Badibu.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, you made mention of GNPC being part of it. How do you see GNPC in the petroleum production? So what is the relationship between them and the private sector?
That is a good question. GNPC actually is the business arm of government in the petroleum sector. The government has 3 arms. The policy arm is the ministry. The regulatory arm is the commission that we have just passed the bill. The business arm is GNPC. So GNPC is investing upstream. They are part of upstream. They have joint venture with upstream companies. They also invest in the midstream and downstream. So that's why they are in the petroleum storage facility. They are also in the service stations. They build service stations. So that's the business entity of GNPC in the sector. So there is it's like a business entity that does business, but they are all governed by the same regulation. The laws and regulatory mechanisms apply to all of them together like this. So GNPC doesn't have any specific regulatory mechanism. It's the same laws that apply to them like it applies to Atlas or any other person. So GNPC has a share in this, just like GPA, they have their shares in the business. So that's the relationship. GNPC is investing in the area as mandated by their act. So I hope you understand it. That's the business body. They're investing in the area. Yes.
Central Badibu, I don't seem to have a long list. Let's allow others and then we'll come back to you if you need further clarification. Honorable Member for Banjul South and then Lower Nyobi.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, as the question says, that the government could not enter into any agreement that could derogate or impede the sovereignty legally or economically. And the Honorable Minister mentioned that the GNPC is a business entity. Can the Honorable Minister confirm whether all fuel is purchased, all fuel purchased by the government is done through this GNPC then, so that it will not, because since it's part of government and it's in business, dealing with any other fuel station would be against the economic viability of the government in that case. Can you confirm whether all your fuel is purchased through GNPC? If not, why?
Well, fuel purchased by government is open. You don't have, there's no monopoly of GNPC supplying any government entity. So government buy from GNPC, like my ministry buy from GNPC, sometimes they also buy from Atlas, depends on how much they are giving them. And also, other institutions also buy from it's an open market. So GNPC is competing like them. So GNPC also competes in the tender. For example, Navet tender, GNPC competes, others compete. So it's a competitive business. But there's no policy on monopolizing and getting things to GNPC. Maybe that will be my waste, but that is, I don't think our economic policy allows that. So we cannot give a monopoly to GNPC.
Lower Nyomi, Honorable.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, could you be aware of any agreement that GNPC could go into that could derogate the sovereignty of this country? If so, would you act as an advisor, or what would be your stance?
Honorable Speaker, okay, the question is about GAM Petroleum and actually not GNPC. But what we are talking about, the GNPC taking part in this business is part of their business mandate. Okay, and the agreement about GNPC, maybe the upstream, that is not GNPC actually, that's the ministry and the Petroleum Commission. And GNPC also takes, because they have a government participatory interest in GNPC. So there is nothing linked with GNPC and the issue of GAM Petroleum's activity, except that they are a partner and they are members of the board. So matters will only come to the minister if there are issues that has to do with regulation, that has to do with national issues. For example, if there is a critical shortage of fuel, the government comes in to see how we can help. But that definitely have to do with the total entity, not only GNPC. GNPC has a share and others have a share, and also there's a private share. So it's a public-private enterprise entity. So that is how it works.
Honorable Minister, during your explanation, you talked about the relationship between your ministry, or it's not clear to be your relationship, your ministry's relationship with GNPC and GAM Petroleum. Can you please clarify?
GNPC is a state enterprise. It's a public enterprise. GAM Petroleum is a private entity which government and bodies have shares in, not only GNPC. So that's a clear distinction. GNPC is a state enterprise under the Ministry of Petroleum. Like you have Social Security as a state enterprise under the Ministry of Finance. Or you have NAVET as a state company under the Ministry of Energy. So that's a distinction. This particular company is a private entity. They are not under my ministry. We only regulate through PURA. So our activity here is regulatory. So even there, GNPC is part of that, but that we regulate. That PURA regulates, and we give licenses to PURA to regulate them as an entity, not as GNPC alone, but that particular GAM Petroleum as a body, as a company. It's a company. But GNPC as a state enterprise is a government, solely owned government corporation, 100% government owned, and is under the Ministry of Petroleum and Energy. Social Security, likewise. I hope you understand that. So it is not, you still understand. What the distinction is that this one is a state enterprise. And this one is a private enterprise. It started as a private enterprise and government started buying shares in it. That's it. But it's a limited liability. It's not a corporation. And it's not enacted by an act of parliament here, like NPC Act, you know.
Central Badibu, I was hoping that, no, it's Nyani.
Thank you. How about the National Petroleum? Is it a private entity or?
National Petroleum, I don't know a company called National Petroleum. We have the Gambia National Petroleum Corporation. That's GNPC. Oh, those are all private. They are not national. The only petrol station that is the GNPC. Petrol stations that you see. That's one owned by GNPC. NP is a private entity. It's a private entity. not government actually.
I'm sorry, Honorable Member for Central Badibu, we've exhausted our 7 supplementary questions, and we're proceeding with the next question, which is question number, just a second. Question number 100 of 2021 by the Honorable Member for Upper Salum. 2021.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, can the Honorable Minister of Petroleum and Energy provide a breakdown of all the funds generated from the petroleum sector, including signature bonuses, licenses, data sales from 2017 to date, showing the sources of funds and their utilizations during the period?
Honorable Speaker, from 2017 to date, the upstream petroleum sector has received a cumulative sum of $32 million as categorized below. Data sales, USD 11 million. This is data from geological and geophysical data, mainly seismic data. Surface rentals, 6 million. These are part of license agreement. Signature bonus, 15 million. These are license agreements too. And training and resources fund, 6 million. These are all part of license agreement. Funds from data sales and surface rentals are expended in the following activities: legal consultancy with international law firm, Brian Cave and Litton, BLCV, legal fees for arbitration and associated expenses, negotiation expense of fire licenses, GNPC investments, that's investment in gun petroleum charge, service station, construction, CCTV projects for all GNPC service stations, and landed properties for GNPC service stations, GNPC upstream reforms, and vehicles for the ministry. Signature bonuses paid to the government consolidated revenue funds. Honorable Speaker, I would like to inform you that this August attorney that international oil companies also contribute to the development of petroleum sector through a training and resources fund as agreed in the license agreement. From 2017 to date, government has received about 6 million from operators, which is used for capacity building, long and short-term training, equipment and furniture, license negotiations and administration, block promotion and marketing, amongst others. The training and resources fund is also used to support institutions that contribute to the development of the petroleum sector, since government may not have the funds through its budget. The following institutions, among others, have benefited from the petroleum sector through training and resources funds: Ministry of Justice and Finance and Economic Affairs, Ministry of Justice, Gambia Revenue Authority, National Environment Agency, the National Assembly, Gambia Maritime Administration, GMA, Gambia Investment and Export Promotion Agency, GAIPA, Standards Bureau, Central Bank, Gambia Fire Services, National Audit, Ministry of Works, Transportation and Community Construction, University of the Gambia, and Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industries.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Now, going by Section 150, subsection 1 of the 1997 Constitution, it actually says that all revenues or monies that are paid to the government have to be deposited into the Conciliatory Revenue Fund. Why is it that some of these funds are not deposited into the CRF except the signature bonuses fund?
Honorable Speaker, if you look at the GNPC Act, some of the revenues are paid to the NPC for the GNPC sector, and this is what they have been paid to since before even 2017 and 17. But now all revenues are paid to the central bank. Okay, and part of this is Minister of Finance decides. Part of this is the central bonus that's paid to the central, and these orders are meant for the operations of the sector. And this is how it is designed in license, and this has been done the plan from onset. So we get guidance from the relevant ministry and also Justice Ministry before we monies come in. Yeah.
Yes, Apasalu.
Yes, thank you. The final question is who has the final say in the allocation of these funds to the various departments or agencies of the government? Who has the final say in the allocations?
Well, first, the Act determines what money is for. And then the minister allocates. Minister of Finance actually approves. Whatever we do to the Minister of Finance, it approves so they have the final say, because they are one in charge of government revenue. What actually comes through the Minister of Energy.
He has 2 questions which he has asked. Any honorable member who wishes to ask a supplementary question on this can raise his or her tag, and I'll allow them. Anyone? Yes, nominated member Seka. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma. Honorable Minister, in your answer, you talk about the ministry only responsible in licensing. What about monitoring? Do you have any mechanisms put in place in terms of monitoring and evaluating them?
Well, I'm sure this will be related to the earlier question of licensing the operators. PURA is the one who is monitoring, and they are the regulators. So for the upstream, the Petroleum Commission is responsible for the licensing mechanism and also monitoring. So that's how. So we are monitoring. And for the upstream, what we are talking about now, which is upstream matters, that is we have a specific team of people from other sectors that join to monitor all activities. This includes Minister of Finance, Office of the President, GAIPA, GRA, and the National Environment Agency, among others, that joint team to monitor all activities.
Honorable members, please, if you wish to ask a question, just raise your tags instead of me asking all the time. Yes, Serekunda, any more supplementary questions? Okay, then Serekunda.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, the question is emphasizing breakdown of all the funds generated from the petroleum sector. Is the Honorable Minister saying from 2017 to date, it's only $30 million that has been generated from this sector, that constitute all the funds from the sector?
Yes, that is it. That is the category I have given. But these are the sources of revenue, the data that we will market now, and also the rentals, surface rentals. That is the, if a company acquires this block, they pay rentals to government every year, and then you also have a license, exactly what I allocated, indicated here, and all the revenue we receive from those. So actually this is the cumulative total we have received so far.
Honorable Speaker, I believe he will be making it available.
Yeah.
That, and he will make it available.
Yeah,
All right. Well, in the absence of anything else, I'll allow Upper Salum know.
Honourable Speaker, I want to observe, and it's very general. I will refer members to Standing Order 26.2. I will not read it. But please, members, let them conform with 26.2, Standing Order 26.2. I'm referring members to Standing Order 26.2. It's part of rules of debates. Do I need to read it? I think every member is having his standing order. Okay. With your permission, Madam Speaker, 26.2. Madam Speaker, with your permission, a member shall speak standing and shall address his or her observation to the Speaker or the chairperson. Through my observation, people are having direct dialogue with the minister. Honourable Minister, can we inform? But I think we should address the chair. We should address the Speaker. Now
It
the
should
Speaker
be
will not allow
directed to
us
the
to
chair, and then the Honourable Minister will respond. But if I try to bring the attention to honourable members to the laid down procedures, Some of them will want to believe that I am denying them the opportunity to speak. And as I said, I'm not denying anybody the opportunity to speak. All what I'm trying to do is just for us to conform. Let us just do the right thing. I know that Honorable Member for Jara is always on spot on these issues, but then let us all just try to exercise more parliamentary decorum. Woolley East, do you have a supplementary question?
Yes. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the last bit of the question is sources of funds and their utilization during this period. And my concern is relating to the quality of fuel that is imported. How do you actually monitor that? Is this money utilized for that particular exercise of monitoring to ensure that good quality fuel is imported into the country? Because so many vehicles are getting damaged.
Honorable Speaker, that's a different section of the petrol. What we are talking about, that one is the downstream sector, and that is regulated by PURA. And for fuel standard is Standards Bureau under the Ministry of Trade. So, but we set the standards according to Petroleum Products Act. We are working on the standards. And the fuel that is brought in is the overall current standard. And we are trying to improve that. And also we are working with the ECOWAS, because if we improve ours and our partners don't have a problem. But definitely we are trying at the ECOWAS level to make sure that they are standard in all ECOWAS regions. But you are right, some fuel coming in, it's not them, sometimes it's not coming in, it's at the service stations. Some may be adulterated at the service stations here and there, but PURA is one responsible for monitoring that. But I take a concern, and I have my technicians here to look into it. But definitely it is, once in a while it happens. You know, it happens.
For the Honorable Minister. Now we thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for the responses, and honorable members, thank you also for the questions posed to the Honorable Minister. You are now released, and Clerk, thank you.
Thank you. Questions for oral answers continues. Questions for oral answers by the Honorable Minister for Interior.
Thank you very much. Questions for which due notices were given to the Honorable Minister for Interior by honorable members for oral reply. March 2021 questions. Question number 34 of 2021 by the Honorable Member for Bakau.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, drug abuse is rampant and dangerous to our youthful population. Can the Honorable Minister for Interior inform this August Assembly what plans are in place to remedy the situation?
Thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, drug abuse is rampant and dangerous to our youthful population. Drug abuse among the youth is a serious concern to the government. Drug Control Act provides that under Section 15(1), as part of the functions of the Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Gambia, to educate the public, and in particular the youth, on the dangers of misusing drugs and give publicity to those dangers. As a policy and strategic response, the Public Relations Office unit of the Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Gambia, is upgraded to a directorate of drug demand reduction. This places the supply suppression and demand reduction at the same level of priority. Principally, the following interventions are undertaken. Funding is already secured from ECOWAS Commission for the renovation of the structure at the Dilik premises in Bijilo to be used as a rehabilitation center. As a pilot project, this center may not be able to accommodate more than 20 people at a given time. Weekly talking shows over 5 radio stations and periodically on other radio stations. Also, there is a school sensitization program in various schools between January and March 6th. And March, 6 schools, junior and senior, are visited. Community sensitization and training for civil society organizations is also on. The sensitization programs are ongoing as they form part of the key strategic intervention area in the National Drug Control Strategy 2019-2023. It is hoped that these activities will assist in meeting the objective of Section 15.1 of the Drug Control Act, which states mobilize and foster public support against the abuse of drugs in the Gambia. I would like to respectfully implore all honorable members to help in sensitizing their constituencies about the danger of drugs abuse to complement the efforts of DILIC. Your role in this crusade is absolutely critical.
Yes, Honorable Member for Bakau, you have any supplementary questions?
Yes, Madam. Honorable Minister, do you think making sensitization is enough to make a stop to drug abuse?
Well, it's not enough because more things have to be done, not at the level of the institution and also with the members of the public. Most of the abuses are in our domestic homes, and they are not in the eyes of the security institutions. So it is the responsibility of every one of us to take that responsibility to make sure that we police our immediate environment and report whatever suspicious drug activities that is going on in our respective localities. Thank you.
Since sensitization is not enough, what are the measures in place as a ministry to make sure that this issue is being stopped?
Well, I've made mention of several measures, and since if sensitization is not enough, this is the complementary efforts to our daily routine patrols, fight against drugs. So we feel that it is important also to sensitize the members of the public on the dangers and also how best they can cooperate with the security institutions to at least to stop this menace.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Member for Bakau. Lower Fuladu. Honorable Member for Lower Fuladu.
Yes, thank you very much. Madam Speaker, so far does the sensitization carried out has any impact?
Of course, Honorable Speaker, there is reduction in trafficking because most people know that the moment they are involved in trafficking of drugs, there is high penalty. That high penalty lies ahead of them, and that in itself is discouraging some of the drug activities going on.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Talinding.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Do you have any plan in place to station a detective mechanism in our entry points? Hence, those are the places where drugs are being passed through.
Thank you very much for that question. Currently, Security Service has conducted overall assessment of security situation in the Gambia, and one of the areas that areas is on drug control. And then we have the plan that the moment certain equipments are fixed at certain locations, more especially around the borders, equipments like drug detective equipments, then that would definitely help in the fight against drugs.
Honorable members, it may help if probably you try to raise your tax a little earlier. Otherwise, I would have taken down my earlier list only, and then I cannot delete the ones that have caught my eyes first. So next time, let's all just put our tags, so then we will, I try to look and I have only 2 eyes. So, I'm honorable member for Brikama South, like everybody else.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to believe the issue of trafficking is responsible for this problem. And if you look at it, most of the traffickers are seriously armed. And in a situation whereby there is an attempt on the life of the drug enforcement officers who are not armed, it's going to be difficult. They run for their life. Are you prepared as a ministry to provide the drug enforcement officers to be seriously armed in order to match the traffickers?
Well, as a personal opinion, I would want them to be armed, but there are a lot of also disadvantages on arming security officers because they are also human beings. And then the moment you arm security officers, well-armed are the criminals also. This is the danger. Because at the moment we are fighting with the minimal tools that we have, and they are not overcoming us at this point. But the moment we raise our security, started arming our officers, then it's likely that criminals also will be equally armed. So they measure their activities as to the strength or activities or the power of the security. But at the personal level, I would definitely want them to be armed. But that will not be right for the population at the moment. Thank you.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much. Could the minister confirm that involving the police, involving the people for whom all these laws are intending to serve would be more of help than having the police only carry out this? Where you would get a number that in case someone detects someone with drug, to inform you in the quickest and the earliest time possible, where you could apprehend and, if possible, take measures to address that issue?
I'm not sure whether I get your question right, but my perception of your question is...
The question will be whether that is even a supplementary one. Yes? What is the ambiguity in the answer there? What further clarification do you want?
The involvement of the people for whom all this is intended to serve is very critical, is very influential, and is very important. How would you be able to do that? Like giving out numbers, sensitizing, reaching out, and so forth.
Okay, thank you very much. There's already a call center established and at a particular location, and this is the moment you call that number, the officers there will disseminate that information to the nearest officer around you. And the number is 1213 1213. That's what we have and it's given to most radio stations and also is discussed on radio stations. If I listener, you would have heard about that number by now.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Serakunda.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. The Honorable Minister would agree that to combat the drug menace will require multidisciplinary, multifaceted, multi-purpose approaches, and one of the purposes is sensitization. Would he agree that there is need for collaboration between his ministry and the Ministry of Education so that the sensitization will feature in the curriculum in terms of bringing up children to truly understand the nature and characteristics of the menace itself?
I agree to that, and because this is the reason why school sensitization is part of the programs. And we'll see how best we can take up with the Ministry of Education to put it in the curriculum. But at the moment, we are only going there to meet them and sensitize them on drug use and abuse. But what we are saying is right. We can still engage them further in ensuring that it is part of the curriculum for everybody to understand. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Question number 35 of 2021 by the Honorable Member for Sami constituency.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, can the Honorable Minister for Interior inform this August Assembly whether there are plans to construct a fire station in Sami constituency?
Honorable Speaker, though it's the wish of the residents of Sami in particular, the chief to construct the fire station in the constituency and are willing to provide suitable land. However, construction of fire station and staff accommodation requires adequate resources, which is not readily available at the moment.
Do you want to follow up?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. The reason why I brought this, Honorable Speaker, for the past years, there used to be a lot of fire incidences. And if you look at the whole CRR North, there is no fire station. So I think the Honorable Minister should
justification, not seeking for clarification. That's a justification for the fire station to be constructed.
So I would be very much happy. Thank you.
Well, I don't know whether I can add something to that. We'll definitely look at it, but as I said, the resources are not available as at now. And building a fire station is one thing, but equipping that fire station is the most expensive thing to do. Each of our fire tenders, if you want to fully equip a fire tender, is about 25 million per fire tender. So that's why I said the resources are not readily available as at now. But we'll look into it. Thank you.
Clarification, not like the previous one. Your first supplementary question definitely was not a supplementary question. It was a statement justifying the need for a station in the constituency. So you can ask a supplementary to clarify if you feel there is any ambiguity in the answer.
No, I'm just coming. What, Honorable Speaker, can the Honorable Minister tell us what are the long plans for it?
As I said, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Member's concern is noted, but the resources are not available as at now, but there are plans to build more fire stations, not only at that location. The issue now is, even if you put a fire station at a particular location, and there is no hydrant located around that end, you just put in a white elephant somewhere and then it's of no use. So that's the reason. So these things, fire stations go with a lot of accessories. You have to have the fire tender fully equipped, and that costs about 25 million. And also other gadgets like where you tap fire from, hydrants. So hydrants have to be well coordinated, and I don't think NAWAC has reached to that around the end. You can only tap it from the sea. if the sea is located near, at a close proximity. So fire service goes with water. Water has to be made available, and then the tenders has to be there. So this is the constraint as of now. But plans are on the way. If resources are made available, then we'll expand the coverage of fire service to the entire nation.
Thank you. Honorable Member for Basse.
Honorable Speaker, thank you. The Honorable Minister has touched the main problem now, that's the hydrant. So some time ago, we did raise the concern whether the river can serve as a source of water. But the answer was that the tanks that we are having doesn't have the capacity to fetch water from the river. The only capacity they have is to receive water from the hydrant. So I don't know whether with this current situation, as you are embarking to multiply fire stations, whether the tanks that will be now provided will be able to fetch water from the river, as the Gambia is blessed with this river from the beginning to the end of the country.
Honorable Speaker, that requires an assessment of the whole area to see whether that is possible. But I want to believe that it is possible to draw water from the river for firefighting. It all requires the appropriate tools to be able to do that, because you need to pump in. So what we have now cannot draw, has to be assisted to draw, and then that's what the hydrants are doing. The moment you open one hydrant, the water comes out, the pressure comes out. The pressure assists in tapping water from that. But in the river, it's very stagnant. If you put a pipe there, you need something to propel it to come to the main tank. So there is, if possible, if we will conduct a study and see what is possible around the river bank. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Member for Fonyi Bonda.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. The Honorable Minister informed this August Assembly that there is no fund to build a fire station. But in my question, I want to ask, what criteria did you use to build a fire station?
I don't know exactly what your question relates to, but my perception of your question is that what it takes to build a fire station. If that is right, then as I've mentioned that already, that you require the infrastructure, you require a fully equipped fire tender, you require fire hydrants around that location in a close proximity to the fire station. So this requires a lot of resources. So this is the reason. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. There are resource constraints I can understand, but is there any plan laid to get resources so that the Honorable Member for Same's concern can be addressed?
Well, the best thing to go is to seek for supplementary budget and then send it to this very August gathering for approval. That's going to be our next plan. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions? Supplementary, honorable members? On that question, okay. Then we proceed with question number 36 of 2021 by the honorable member for Kombo East constituency. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, can the Honorable Minister for Interior update this August Assembly on the construction of a police station at Jiboro? Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, plans are on the way to build a police station at the state border post, Jiboro, as the German Corporation for Internal Cooperation police component support. The support is already in the country, and it's about to renovate 7 police stations, including Serekunda, Kairaba, Bakau, Yundum, Brikama, Bundung, and Brusubi, as well as to build 2 other police stations. Jiboro is marked to be one of the 2 stations to be built. GIZ engineer is already in the country to do the assessment. In fact, the assessment has already been completed because this was some months ago. So assessment has already been completed. Thank you.
Yes, Combo East, supplementary.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Speaker. How soon will this be put into implementation? Thank you.
Well, I cannot say for certain because these are assistants, and then we cannot force them to tell us when they are going to be ready. They've conducted the assessment, and they will very soon be in touch with us to see what will happen next. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, you're talking about this is an assistant. So in the absence of this assistant, what will happen to this proposed police station that you wanted to construct? Oh, okay. Can I go ahead? I think... Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Minister says that this is going to be an assistant, through an assistant. So my question is, in the absence of that assistance, or in case that assistant fails, what will happen to this proposed police station that you wanted to build? Thank you.
As I said in the preamble, there are plans to build a lot of police stations. It all depends on, we are going to prioritize this thing. But because this matter was raised here, and then we contacted the GIZ, for possible assistance to remedy the condition at that location. But there are plans to build some other police stations with available resources. Thank you.
Thank you. Banjul South.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I think my question was asked by the Honorable Member just now. But then again, is the Honorable Minister telling us that we are dependent on our security because we really need the police within our local communities? Is he telling us that we are only relying on support for the security of this nation in building police stations? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I never mentioned that we are relying on only the support. And in the first, even the question prior to this particular question, I raised the issue of resource concern. And then most of these things, we put up a supplementary. We had a rapport with the Security Committee of this Parliament. And then we intend to put up a lot of funding issues to the Minister of Finance. And probably those issues will come to this very August Assembly for approval. So I hope when it reaches your level, you'll do everything possible to make sure that our needs are met. Thank you.
Any more supplementary questions, honorable members? No? And I proceed with the next question. Thank you very much. Question number 37 of 2021 by the honorable member for Brikama South. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, can the Honorable Minister for Interior inform the August Assembly why there exists a disparity between different nationals with regards to the payment of residential permits and alien? Example, Bissau Guinean, Conakry Guinean, and the Senegalese.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. In response to the above subject matter, the disparity between the different nationals' payment of residence permit is as a result of either bilateral agreement or presidential proclamation. It could be recalled that in March 2005, there was a joint ministerial commission signed between Guinea-Bissau and the Gambia, among which exemption from paying residential permits for the two countries' nationals was part of the agreement. During the last presidential visit of the former president of Senegal, Abdoulaye Wade, to the Gambia in 2011, the former president of the Republic of the Gambia made a presidential proclamation that all Senegalese nationals are exempted from paying residential permits. Similarly, during the former president's visit to Guinea-Conakry, the then head of state, Alpha Condé, made a special appeal to the former president to exempt Conakry Guinean nationals residing in the Gambia from paying residential permit, which was granted and even extended to all other ECOWAS citizens. However, in order to maintain the statistical record of residential permits in the country, and also for the exempted countries to account for their nationals residing in the Gambia, the non-Gambian identity card was introduced as a substitute.
Yes, thank you very much. Can the Honorable Minister explain whether the presidential proclamation could be subjected to renewal or could be subjected to review as far as these issues are concerned? And are you also aware that you have some Guineans that are still paying these things?
I will start from your last question, whether I'm aware. I'm not aware. On the first part of your question, as far as the proclamations are not lifted, we still maintain them. Thank you.
Madam Speaker, this is by way of concern. It's not a question. As he said, he is not aware. I'm a living witness. I'm within my constituency on a daily basis. I'm even aware that I was a witness to where some of these people are arrested for failing to pay their residential permit. And I have to go up to the police station to make some engagement with them. And I had a meeting with them where they reported this, and they reported to me, this is exactly what was happening. I was a living witness to that.
You're saying a matter of fact, according to you. Yes, Honorable, yes, Banyu South. And please, any other Honorable member who wishes to ask a question so that I can take down the list. Yes, go ahead, Banyu South. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Base and Serekunda. Thank
Honorable
you.
Speaker, the Honorable Minister mentioned the question is regarding the payment of residential permits and aliens. And these countries mentioned are ECOWAS countries. Is the Honorable Minister aware of the ECOWAS protocols and the fact that the ECOWAS is not now an ECOWAS of states, but ECOWAS of people? And ECOWAS citizens are now called community citizens. What effect does that have in these people having to pay residential permits or alien? Are they alien or are they community citizens? Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, for compliance on international conventions, it has to be locally ratified. I urge this cabinet, also the members of this August gathering, to make efforts to make sure that we adhere to the ECOWAS convention, and by domesticating some of the conventions that are already in the ECOWAS domain. Thank you.
Basse, Honorable Member for Basse.
First of all, I want to be clarified about the convention that the minister is referring us to in responding to the answer of the member for Banjul South. The protocol that the member is talking about is the protocol of free movement of goods, people, and services within the ECOWAS region. The right to enter, the right to establish, and the right to reside. So do you want to inform us, does the minister want to inform us whether this particular parliament does not ratify that convention?
I'm not saying, Honorable Speaker, I'm not saying the the Parliament did not ratify those conventions. But what I'm saying, every convention has some procedural methods, restrictions or whatever, that you have to put some guidelines. You can say free movement. But if you don't have the substance to maintain yourself in another country, then your movement will be restricted, because it's obvious that when you enter, you are likely to be a destitute. So these are the procedural conditions. So that's what I'm saying.
Basse, you've had your chance. Serekunda.
Honourable Speaker, the member is talking about disparity in implementation. The Honourable Minister is indicating that agreements are signed that is responsible for the different treatment. Is there any indication that sensitization is being done to the maximum so that all those citizens will know the status that should guide their stay in the Gambia? And if there's no sufficient sensitization, would the minister undertake to make such sensitization?
Honorable Speaker, I'm not aware of any sensitization being made. I was not in the country at the time, but I will, from this point, will make sure that we sensitize the population more on that, and also the foreign population in this country, so that they would understand the proclamation, the content of the proclamation.
Thank you. Uli East.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, it will be very embarrassing to call West African citizens aliens in the Gambia. Would the Minister of Interior be kind enough to advise the government to come up with a bill or motion to amend some of these laws to put them in line with the ECOWAS protocol? Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, the question is noted, and then we'll put into consideration. Thank you.
Say something about the ECOWAS parliamentarians. I saw two of you raising your tags, so I'll give a chance, either Manuel Saud or Basse, so that Uli West will have a chance. So you decide amongst yourselves, ECOWAS parliamentarians.
Mine is only an observation, because, Madam Speaker, the Honorable Minister said that people that come here are destitute. I would rather he revisits that word again, because most of these people are independent people who come here mostly and invest. So I think he should revisit that word destitute. Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, I just want a clarification on that. I think she misquoted me seriously here, and I want an apology from her for that. Because what I said here is those that come into the country and they have no sufficient means to stay. At the end of the day, if you don't have cash or whatever to sustain yourself in the country, you become a destitute. That's what I said. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
To engage the minister so that this issue can be clarified vis-a-vis the protocols. This is my suggestion, because every time the issue comes up and it's not very clear, but you can sit down and have an engagement, let everybody know what is expected to be done. I think that may be probably a good move. Honorable Member for Woolly West, no, you had an option, either yourself or Banjul South, and you opted.
Madam, if we go by the terms of the ECOWAS protocol on free movement of people and even residents, this thing does not have any place. What do you do with that agreement that we have, which is over 40 years old? what role does it play in this framework? Because you are talking about people who, according to the terms of that protocol, they can come here, they can even work here, they can live here as citizens. Now they are being treated as aliens. What are we doing with that? What instrument that you signed? And it's over 40 years old now. 46. Huh?
Is it a question or a statement? You're quoting 40 years ago, and for me to answer something that happened 40 years ago, probably. Yeah.
The protocol is still existing. So I'm saying, what role is it playing in this framework? Because now you are treating these people as aliens when, according to the terms of that protocol, they can come here and live here even as like me.
Yes, I think somebody made mention of aliens being very offensive word here as the situation calls for. And I said we're going to look at it and put it in consideration. Thank you.
A good approach. Have a look at it and the decision be taken on it. Thank you. Thank you very much. In fact, we've had actually 7 supplementary questions and 1 or 2 observations or statements. Yes. Question number 38 of 2021, Honorable Member for Brikama South. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, can the Honorable Minister for Interior inform this August Assembly how far is the investigation into the into alleged illicit drug intercepted at the Gambia Ports Authority?
Honorable Speaker, the investigation into the seizure of 118 bags containing cocaine weighing 2 tons, 952 kilograms, 850 grams in a container of industrial salt imported from Ecuador, South America by Circuit Long Trading CLT Limited on the 7th January 2021 at the seaport in the Gambia is steadily progressing so far. 2 main suspects are charged in court for various offenses, including aggravated drug trafficking. International bench warrant and Interpol red notice are issued against the main suspect. Temporary freezing order is secured from the High Court to block all accounts linked to the main suspect. The drugs seized are properly secured in a safe location with armed 24 hours armed guard. It must be noted that this is a typical transnational organized crime, thus the investigation has international dimension. A number of countries are concerned with the case, and the investigators are closely collaborating with investigators in those other countries in the evidence gathering. The National Assembly Select Committee on Defense and Security has been briefed, and they are playing a needful leadership role to support the investigation. Thank you.
Yes, Brikama South.
Madam Speaker, if you look at the date in which this was intercepted, January 7, 2017, it's almost 4 years now. 2017, to date, it's almost 4 years now. No. This was intercepted 7th January 2017. Was it? No. 2021, okay. Yes. Honorable Minister, can you be specific? Is there any time frame for the investigation to be completed?
In international investigations, you cannot put a time frame. You can take temporal seizures, temporal activities until the main suspect is arrested. This is a criminal link, linking all the way to Ecuador. A lot of personalities are involved there. The Ecuadorian authorities are also investigating. We have to remember also that these drugs transited through many countries, undetected, until their arrival in the Gambia detected. So that chain has to be followed, reverse back to where it originates, get all the required information to be able to charge them, not only putting them before the court, because if you put all the suspects before the court here, that means the other suspects in other countries will go court-free. That's going to be the end of the investigation. So this is why we are collaborating with international partners to make sure that the ring is controlled there in the main, where they departed, in all transit areas, and up to here. What we have as of now is only people that we arrested here. We are urging others to arrest others in other areas to dismantle the criminal gang. Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, can the Honorable Minister inform us which countries and institutions as partners are involved in the investigation?
I made that, Honorable Speaker, I don't know whether I have already, because these are two questions, these are questions that are very similar. The first session and the second session questions were raised, number 5 of this particular session and number 3 of the last session. So I've given an accurate answer of this particular question on that. So, but if you still want, I can still, make reference to that number 3, then I will tell you exactly all the countries that are involved.
Those questions are still not part of the records as of now. I think I saw something like that prior to this, but let's just have the response if we can. Of the Honourable Member. He asked for the other countries that are linked, am I right, to the investigations.
The countries that are linked to this includes Ecuador.
It is there.
Spain. French are also very interested in tracking in the investigation. The British are also very interested in the investigation. And the Gambia. Thank you.
Please, can you repeat the questions of the
Gambia, Spain, America, Ecuador, United Kingdom interested, and France interested. And Senegal. The last is the Senegal.
Madam Speaker, for clarification purpose, the question is the countries that are linked. I laid emphasis on the countries that are linked, but not ask whether they are interested or not, but the countries that are directly linked.
Honorable Speaker, unless this honorable member wants me to disclose things that I suppose not to at this point.
You know, one thing is the investigations, as I understand,
is still ongoing.
Are going on.
That's why I said these are the countries that that have interest. I've not sent that. I've not. Purposes, I just want to repeat it again. Gambia, Ecuador, Spain, these are the main countries that the drug passes to. But other countries also have interest, and they want to know the link, the criminal link. And that includes France, United Kingdom, and Senegal. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Member for Talinding.
Thank you very much. Honorable Minister, how far are you with the investigation of the UDP pickup that was intercepted with a cannabis?
Out of order. It's not related. Out of order. It's out of order.
I am in order. We are under investigation, and this is drug issue. So I want to know how
it's out of order. It's not related to the.
Please, Honorable Member, you are not Talinding, Honorable Member for Central Badibu. Please let us exercise decorum. Honorable Member for Talinding, I just wish to draw your attention to the question. The question touches on the what was it? Can the Honorable Minister for Interior inform this August Assembly how far is the investigation into the alleged illicit drugs intercepted at the Gambia Ports Authority?
Madam Speaker.
Can you allow me? Anybody who wants to take the floor, I allow them. But if I want to intervene, they say no. Just allow me. All I'm just trying to do is to draw your attention to the question and the purpose of a supplementary question. Now, look at the response. If in the response there is any reference to an other, seizure anywhere else, then you can go ahead and seek for clarification. But in the absence of a reference to any seizure outside this specific one in the response, then I'm afraid a new question should have been brought up touching on that. So now I am just looking at it. What it says here is the investigation deals with 118 bags containing cocaine in a container of industrial salt imported from Ecuador. And it goes on and tells you, according to the response, what has been done. So really, the issue of an other seizure does not arise, in which case, if you have a supplementary question on this, I will allow it, but definitely not on the issue that you have raised.
Madam Speaker, you have the discretion to disallow me. But the question is, we are talking about intercepting. And both these drugs were intercepted. And the Honorable Minister could be in a position to explain to me.
The interception of this was there. If you say that, then I can I'm just trying to accommodate you so that maybe you can have some more room to swim around. But if you want me to exercise my discretion, I can exercise it, and I will exercise it judiciously. And I will disallow the question then, if that is what you want. Thank you. Honorable Member for, Opanyomi?
Yes. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. Honorable Speaker, according to the Honorable Minister, there are international partners within the investigation. So I just want to know how exhaustive in their end, as far as this particular investigation is concerned. I'm just asking locally, how far are you with the investigation?
whether you have exhausted yours or you haven't exhausted it or not. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The necessary things that we should do at our location here in the Gambia are almost completed. But as far as the main suspect to the case is still at large, that is the difficulty that we are facing now. But we have made Interpol, we've obtained a warrant for his arrest and also a red notice on Interpol so that wherever he goes, he'll be easily tracked and then probably repatriated, extradited back to the country. But investigation is completed. The file is currently with the AG's chambers, and hopefully very soon, probably in the course of this week or next week, we will receive the file from them to proceed with what we have in the Gambia. But that will not stop the main investigation going on because this is a criminal link and it requires cooperation with other countries. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Janjambure.
Honorable Minister, considering the magnitude of this crime and the possible causes it can cause on our youth, which of the security apparatus is guiding it, and what is your ministry doing to monitor them?
All that I can say for security reasons is that the substances are strictly under control and they are guided with arms. So the chance of somebody tampering with it is no more. But what I also want to be very clear here is that the effect of these drugs on our youths, as far as our investigation is concerned, it is not intended for the Gambia. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Member for Central Badibu.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, I would like to thank the Ministry for the giant effort done in detecting this huge amount of drug. Honorable Speaker, in their drive to bring the perpetrator to justice, what is your relationship with the neighboring countries? Because you made mention of Senegal. What of other countries in your strive to see that the perpetrators are brought before justice?
I mentioned countries that shows interest in the matter because of certain reasons. But we've already sent a red notice to all Interpol member countries, so which includes all other West African countries. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Ilyasa.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. My question is the illicit drugs intercepted at the Gambia Port Authority. Imagine who was notified party and who was consignee on the bill of lading. Thank you.
We still go into the details, and that will affect the investigation. And as I said, the investigation is still on with the two main suspects at large. Details of the investigation, until we put the matter before the court, then I will not be in a position to disclose that because it will affect the further investigation into the matter. And as I said, we are dealing with other countries on the subject matter. Thank you.
Thank you. We've already had 7 questions, supplementary questions, in which case we have to move on to the next question, number 39 of 2021 by the Honorable Majority Leader and Member for Combo South Constituency.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, it could be recalled that one Buba Drame was charged for the murder of one Buba Drame in Gunjur and remanded at the central prisons. Can the Honorable Minister inform this August Assembly what led to the escape of Buba Drame from the central precincts in December.
Thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, the escape matter was investigated and a report has been sent to Attorney General's office, chambers for legal advice. In addition, red notice has been issued by Interpol. The circumstances of the escape is all in. We have about 3 officers who are currently interdicted. But unless we are advised as to what to do next from the AG chambers, these officers will still remain under interdiction. The sooner we receive the outcome from legal advice from the AG chambers, then we'll proceed with the matter, whether charges are going to be preferred against them or not. Thank you.
Thank you. If you have any additional supplement.
Honorable Speaker, this case was dragging for 18 months before Buba was arrested. Buba was arrested by the people of Gunjur because of their hard work and coordination with the police. This matter was taken and Buba was reminded. Somebody who is enclosed in a maximum security wing being released from December 27 to this time, and the government is telling, the ministry is telling us that the file is with the...
Can you just ask a supplementary
what I'm
question
saying, what
for
is
clarification?
how soon is the Attorney General going to bring this file for immediate action to be taken on the case of Buba Drame?
Well, as soon as we receive the file back, we'll definitely take action. But I also want to understand also the citizens of Gunjur did a very good job in collaboration with the police. They all jointly make plans to arrest Buba, and he was in custody. But we also have to understand that the moment you confine a person, his prayers always is to get out of that place. So he will make all plans to get out. So through the negligence of certain officers probably, we are yet to receive the opinion. But the sooner the opinion is out, actions will be taken. That I will give you that assurance.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, I think action needs to be taken very quickly. This is a case that is 24 months now, and the agreed persons and our discussions with the family, you have assured us that the report will be out as quickly as possible. And it's 6 months now, nothing is said about the report. So please get this report out as quickly as possible, because it is important that the people of Gunjur knows what is happening with this case.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. You will be accordingly informed, and I want to believe that as soon as possible, because what delays was the investigation, but it has to have stages. A panel was established to investigate into the escape, and at the conclusion of their listing, they refer the matter to AG's chambers for legal opinion. So we are now expecting the opinion back to take action based on the recommendation of the AG's chambers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity once again. Honorable Minister, I think the Honorable Member for Combo South is trying to establish one thing, which is what led to the escape of Buba Drame from the central prison in December. What led to his escape?
What I want to confirm here is that I don't want to contradict any opinion of the AG's chambers. The investigation is completed. I know what was the investigators reported. But it may, the opinion may have a different opinion. And I don't want to say something here that will look like I've mentioned one thing and it happens to be the other thing. Very soon the opinion will come out from the AG chambers, and then this very August gathering will be informed accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Member for Tumana.
Yes, Honorable, thank you very much. It's just business as usual. Do you have strategies as a ministry to avert people escaping from our prisons, because looking at the magnitude.
Can you ask a supplementary question?
That's a supplementary question.
No, but
yes, of course, it's in line.
You're asking his opinion, whether he has...
It's not, no, I'm not asking for his opinion. I'm asking my question. It's in line. I am asking him whether his ministry has a strategy in place to avert people escaping prisons. Because looking at the magnitude at which some of these prisoners committed, the crimes that they commit. So if they escape and come back into society, I mean, that's something is alarming. So whether you have a strategy or...
Thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, there are plans even to build a new prison, a more sophisticated prison yard that would be more preventive and humanly friendly. Thank you.
Yara East.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, the escapee committed capital offense. Is it not mind-boggling that he escaped from maximum security wing? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, as I said earlier, I don't want at this point to comment on the way and manner the person escapes until I get the final opinion from the AG's chamber. But the sooner that we obtain that opinion, will be shared with the members of the parliament. Thank you.
Member for Bakau. Bakau.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Please, I go by my list.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, what happened to the security officers, or where are the security officers during the escape of Buba?
Honorable Speaker, I think if the honorable member wants me to tell him that, then I'm preempting the opinion. Thank you.
Banyul South.
Madam Speaker, I rise to bring a motion under Section 53. Motion with Section 53B, motion without notice to adjourn the Assembly for 1 hour and half lunch. Madam Speaker, we still have 10 more questions. 53B, a motion for the adjournment of the Assembly for 1 hour for lunch. We still have 10 more questions, Madam Speaker, and these are very important questions that needs us to concentrate, because these are matters of security. We have the Minister of Justice here. Thank you.
I've been sitting down since morning. I've not had any break, but I just want a convenient point for us to go on break. That's why. So very soon, just so if you can just, let me just plead with you to withdraw the motion and just give us about 10-15 minutes, and then I will.
Okay, thank you. Withdraw.
Thank you. Birkaman North.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in the supplementary question by the Honorable Member for Combo South, it appears he is concerned about the delay in seeing that justice is done in the case, when actually the panel of investigators submitted their report to the AG chambers for study and legal action, so that we measure whether there is delay at the level of the AG chambers or at the level of the investigation.
I will not specifically be able to tell you here that, but I know a month or so ago, the file was sent to AG chambers.
Thank you very much, honorable members and honorable minister. The next question is question number 40 of 2021. by the Honorable Majority Leader and Member for Kumbo South.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, can the Honorable Minister for Interior inform this August Assembly when will the ministry consider building a police station in Gunjur, Kombo South?
Honorable Speaker, it is the wish of the ministry to build a police station at Gunjur as the police leadership is soliciting help from partners and philanthropies for its construction. Notwithstanding, through a community intervention, the old residence of the chief was renovated and furnished. Thus, this place is used as a police station for the time being.
Honorable Speaker, it's just a point of correction. The house that is being used now belongs to the Gambia Cooperative Department, not the residence of the ex-chief. That was the Ministry of Agriculture. That's what they are doing, is the consumer cooperative, and that used to be used for community issues. That's what is being used. Honorable Speaker, since 2017, this is the concern. Kombo South is a cosmopolitan region with 5 fishing communities. The crime rates are increasing on a daily basis. That's why all these murders are happening in Kombo South since 2017, because there are no police stations in all these communities where the police are. So it is important that the ministry give us a definite time when they are going to construct these police stations in those coastal villages where the crime rate is very high now.
Thank you very much. We intend to put up a supplementary budget, and it will come before this very parliament for approval. So when that comes, the sooner you approve it, then we build a police station. Thank you.
Tumana, do you have a supplementary question on that?
Yes, Honorable Speaker, I want to ask the Honorable Minister the criteria that his ministry used to build a police station.
Thank you very much, and I think this is a very important question for me, and I want the honorable members to understand that before building a police station, we normally conduct assessment, security assessment of the areas. So this is why sometimes everybody wants the police station at your location, but we cannot have police stations at all locations. So we conduct assessment. The criteria used is that there must be high rate of crime in the location. It's all preventive measures, and also for the where the public can, for the public to have easy access to report their cases. So at that Gunjur strip, you have Gunjur, you have Tujere, you have Tanje, Katong. So all this, but we cannot build stations in all these areas. We don't have the resources. But what we are doing now is to at least make sure that certain communities have access to police, so that at least they will not travel long distance to the police station. Because some years ago, people from Sukuta will go to Serekunda. Now that Sukuta has this, and Bruce will have them, those around those locations can easily reach to the police station. And what normally happens is that if people do not reach to the station on time, they take revenge. Because they are so much frustrated that they want to go back and attack to at least to calm down their anger. So this is the reason why we make several efforts to build police stations all over the country. But the resources is not there. And as I said to honorable member, if the bill is before you for approval, you help us to at least, and the committee is helping us a lot. We had years of discussion with them, and they are ready to help. And I hope this parliament will help the security services in upgrading them. Thank you very much.
Any further supplementary questions on this? Yes, Opanyomi.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I just want to ask the Honorable Minister, in an instance you cannot build a police station, would you also try to strengthen your patrol around the area so that you can avoid that, frequent crime happening around?
Of course, at the moment, the operational commanders have make a country assessment of vehicle needs, because patrols are more effective, because the distance between one police station to another, probably the coverage area is too much, and you can do foot patrols in a close proximity, but you can only use vehicular patrol in an extensive area. So they've already conducted the vehicle assessment, and they have to submit their report to the ministry very soon. And we are hopeful that we'll post the same to the Ministry of Finance and finally to this very August Assembly.
Any more? Gianni is not asking. Sami is also not asking. Honorable members, any more supplementary questions? I think this is a convenient point for us to take a break and suspend the sitting. And I have about 3:05, but the clock says 2 or 3 minutes to 3 o'clock. So can we say we come back at 3:45? We resume at 4:45. So the assembly now stands suspended till.
Thank you very much. The assembly is suspended, but I'm going to the public petition committee meeting where the people of Woodley have petitioned the Police Department for failing to protect their lives and properties in the Woodley region, and they have sent a petition to the National Assembly Petition Commission, and this individual who is a civil servant posted around that Woodley area, who has witnessed so many of this petty stealing of their animals, and he wants to volunteer and testify before the Petition Commission. He's calling through the diaspora, so we will have him by Skype. I'm going there to cover the session. Thank you. You can follow if you have time. It's your brother Keksan.